What's up, people? What's going on? I don't like my hair as of late. It looks too much like just a fucking... We're getting the bowl cut back, okay? Apparently. Jesus. Oh, now my Discord bot lets people know that I'm streaming after I manually notified them. Wow. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay. How y'all people doing? We'll get into the video in a second, but I want to give people time to get here and everything. So we're going to play our games as always. They have a new tariff simulator thing. What's the January 6th here you guys are talking about? Like, what's the crimes? Crimes, you mean? No, I think we're talking about the new China election thing. Oh, fuck, I did it at midnight last night, so it's not going to let me do it, isn't it? Why did this break all of a sudden? Claims. The title of the thing is that, or the title of the group chat right now, which is how we decide a topic. Okay, I guess it doesn't work. And any browser. Okay, goddamn. Is January 6th justified? So I don't know how unironic this take is. I think Gibbs might argue that, or Gibbs isn't a formal debater, but they're basically going to be arguing, Gibbs is technically going to moderate it, but he weighs in. But I mean, it's fine. He weighs in a not super heavy-handed way. It's fine. I think they might be arguing that January 6th was justified on the basis that a plot that we didn't know was happening, allegedly. We still don't even. There's no the report that Kash Patel has about the Chinese interference is not even good. It's like the FBI is one like confidential human source that they interviewed, saying that they think China's gonna. Oh, what's up, BBW Fart? You're my goat, dude. I appreciate it. China's gonna try to interfere in the election by getting people fake driver's licenses so they can vote. Zero viewers because you're the goat. True. Which one? Even if they got them, there's more steps to voting, and there have been subsequent audits of the election, and you would expect if people did get fake licenses to vote that one of the 100 different audits in a million different states would have found something, but they haven't. Like, there's been like 500 fucking fake votes found in that whole election, dude. Like, there's just no good evidence of anything. Two, we don't even know if people got fake driver's licenses. There were driver's licenses seized by the Customs and Border Patrol, but one, we don't even know for sure if those are actually connected. They could have just been, there are other reasons to get fake driver's licenses other than voting. Like, it could have just been people buying fake driver's licenses for other purposes. So we don't even know if that's connected. And two, they were seized. Nobody got them. we seized them. We don't have any evidence of any more of them other than one guy saying China's going to attempt to do it, but we don't even know. But that was just him. That was just him claiming that. And they said they needed to re-interview him, and I don't think they ever re-interviewed him. What's up, Roxfist? They wouldn't be on the voting roll? Yeah, exactly. You would expect. You would expect. I guess I don't know the exact, what's the exact mechanism by which the audit would uncover it, but you would expect, audits would figure out, there's people voting, from fake addresses, or people voting from addresses they don't live at, or people not on voter rolls that were voting, but, There's like I think the AP Associated Press did like their investigation and they found like 496 fake votes in the election or whatever. AP 2020 election fraud audit. Great for MAGA because they're just dumb, real. And even if I granted entirely that it happened, the people at January 6th didn't know about it. It's kind of I think like I don't think it's a whole entirely unreasonable argument to say like if they thought election was stolen for X reason, but election was actually stolen for Y reason, it can be like maybe retroactively justified to try to overturn the election. But like, you know, it's kind of weird to argue that it's justified retroactively because of new claims that nobody on the grounds in January 6th knew about. Like, you're not going to go to, you know, people on the grounds in January 6th and they're going to say, we think China gave people fake driver's licenses. They're going to say, we think ballots were pulled out of suitcases in Georgia because we saw a fake OAN video, right? Like, yeah. Anyway. I want to get into this, but I also know Sample Text is going to show up at some point, my goat. He's going to have things to say too. So I don't want to, I'll probably start without him, but I don't want to get like too far without him. So I'm stalling a little bit. And also so people can get here, okay? Because I think it'll be, be useful to have some of my econ bros in chat and everything. But Johnny Harris made this video. This video fucking sucks. This video made me want to shoot myself, bro. Oh, wait, hold on. I should activate my Twitter chat. And no one watches on Rumble. I'm not going to bother activating my Rumble chat. I don't need that. And I think he uploaded it on... Actually, it's not. He didn't upload it on Juneteenth. He uploaded it yesterday. God damn it. All right. I think I'm going to start the short stream real quick, and then we'll get into it. Because I do also want to get shorts viewers from this. Let me just make sure that works. All right, I think we're good. Whoops. Let me activate this chat too. Are you kidding me? I may not be able to activate it. I don't want to. This is going to take a while. Maybe. So is it fair to say that this new China claim about the 2020 election is as weak as the Donald Trump Russia claims in 2016? No, I don't think so. But, well, it's impossible to even say that because we don't actually have any, like, there's no Mueller report for this yet. There's no actual, like, report from it yet. All we have is like one, like Kash Patel handing over documents to Congress or whatever. Bruh. Hold on. I gotta type in the verification code. Give me a second. And then we can... and then I can complain about unions. All right. And hopefully sample can show up. We'll see. All right. This is Johnny Harris's new video. If you follow me on Twitter, you would have seen me already crash out about this, because I think this video is actually horrible. And Johnny Harris has an economics degree, doesn't he? I swear I've seen him say he has an economics degree. Hold on. Does he have a Wikipedia page? It'll say. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe I'm making that up. Does not have a degree in economics. Fuck. I thought he did, because I saw his. I thought he said he had one in his video about inflation, which is also kind of a bad video. But this video is like the equivalent. It's like the equivalent of like. I'm trying to think of an equivalent. Basically, this video is like, I don't even know how much of it he wrote. Most of this video is just like written and like taken straight from the EPI, and the EPI, the Economic Policy Institute. It's just like a union funded like think tank that produces a lot of times like horribly misleading shit. Like they're the ones responsible for the productivity versus pay gap graph that went viral, and it's basically just misinformation. We'll get into that later though, because don't worry, he has that chart in this video. People need to realize, okay, unions can be just as evil as corporations. All right, like this is literally the equivalent of like getting your video like sponsored by some corporation to like manufacture consent about some your yacht, closing my yacht got stalled today because of Juneteenth. Unbelievable. How could wokeness do this? What the fuck? But we all need to realize unions, okay, can be just as evil as corporations. Like this is basically, please talk about the shrimp welfare project. Oh, don't worry, I'm sure it'll come off, Helen. This video is basically the equivalent of like getting your video sponsored by like some corporation and using it to like spread like misinfo about like imagine like a corporation. I don't think this happens to be clear, but like imagine a corporation was like literally doing greedflation stuff. I think the greedflation stuff is mostly fake, but like literally just like jacking up prices, and then like you like literally price gouging people, and then like someone got the YouTube video sponsored and by this corporation, and we're saying like actually this is all totally justified. This is basically the exact equivalent of that, but like because it's sponsored by, or not sponsored by, because it's basically made by the EPI, which is again a think tank funded by a bunch of unions, people are just okay with it. And like he's just uncritically citing like Syaz Zuckman and like all these like super, I don't want to say dumb, super unorthodox economists who I think make ridiculous assumptions about things like income inequality. And it's just, for some reason, people are totally okay with it because it's like, oh, union's good on our side. Like no, no, it's the same thing as it, like, try to, like I said earlier, like if your video's like made by some corporation to cover up shady shit they're doing, okay? Unions are not always on your side, dog, okay? He even mentions in here, I have not seen this full video yet, but like factory jobs are going overseas, and like, I know, I'm so prepared to complain about Robert E. Scott and the dumb assumptions that he makes with his writing about the trade deficit. But oh boy, the stuff you're saying about unions is true. Everything I say is true. What do you mean, bro?
This is me if I lived in 1955.
By the way, basically the thesis of this video is that like life was better for the median American in 1955. Like,
here I am in 1975. And 1995, 2015, and then today. I'm going to put myself in the shoes of a middle-income earner in all of these decades to answer a very important question about the United States. Is the average American better off today than they were all these decades ago? Does the typical American make more money, have a better chance of owning a home? It's an important question because
all of this is like, both of those two things are yes. Well, so the home ownership is weird. I don't know how much he talks about this, but home ownership, obviously the price to income ratio of homes has gone up a lot, but the big reason for that is like government intervention. Like the biggest reason for that is that the supply of housing is constrained by the government, by local communities. Like, it's not because of evil corporations, it's not because of capitalism. It's like literally because of government intervention that all these homes are cost way too much money.
Because this graph shows that our economy has grown immensely since the 50s. I mean, we've got the largest economic pie on Earth. And even when you account for inflation and the fact that our population has grown, you still see immense growth. I mean, look at this. We've added tons of prosperity in this country that theoretically every person is entitled to some part of. Or, as some economists put it, has our country produced shared prosperity?
When I think about how well the economy delivers, I think
now we got this girl I think just shadow wrote this video. Because I don't even know, like literally every chart, like I said, that Johnny Harris brings up is just like straight like EPI.
How well it delivers
EPI,
for
no cat tricks, yeah.
the people, for the workers and their families. How well are they receiving that prosperity?
I'm going to show you how all of this economic prosperity we've created has been shared or not shared. And in all of this, I want to get to the bottom of perhaps one of the most important questions in our country, which is everyone able to move up? If they work hard enough or if they get educated, can you climb the economic ladder here?
Are you going to do better than your parents? Can you reach?
It seems like the answer to that is like 100% yes, by the way. Like, I actually, the one book I should finish reading, The American Dream Is Not Dead, I believe, yeah, America is an upwardly mobile society. There actually is a decent amount of upward mobility in America, contrary to popular belief, but I haven't. That's an area I'm less educated on than, like, for example, wage gains and things like that.
Higher levels of income. Can you change your relative position?
The American dream, we sometimes.
Wait, is this worse than the Johnny Harris on inflation? I don't actually remember everything in that video, so I can't tell you. But I just. I like I was complaining about earlier, I just don't like that, like, it's perfectly acceptable to just, like, have, like, a union-funded think tank, like, shadow write your video, and then, like, because it's a union, everything they say is good, and, like, oh, damn, there he goes. Everything they say is good, and, like, Saez and Zuckman and all these, like, crazy, dumb assumptions must be valid. What's up?
What's up?
Not much. We just are getting into the
Let's go.
ultimate slop video.
It is. It really is. Let me guess. Let me preempt all of it. Inequality, and then CPI, and ignoring like non-monetary compensation, and relative poverty measures. Maybe. I don't know. I saw your screenshot. I don't know if it was. The official poverty measure is absolute, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't actually. Well, the thing is, I can't actually tell what poverty measure he's using. I have not watched this full video yet, but I've skimmed through it and, like, looked at a lot of the graphs, and I don't know what poverty measure he's using. It's not in his sources document, but, like, regardless of what measure he's using, like, there are better measures out there. I don't know if he's using the official poverty measure or some relative measure. Also, but
we can look at the wages of individuals in the bottom 20%. They also increased. Now, granted, they have stagnated since the Great Recession, but, like, they're still increasing since the 60s, or I think today it starts in the 80s. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw some CEO slop. The CEOs are earning $1 bajillion.
Yeah,
like
the CEOs are paid 400 times the employee. Yeah, obviously.
Call it a, quote, dream of a better, richer, happier life for all citizens of every rank. Is that still alive? And if not, why? I believe that answering these key questions is incredibly important for the future of this country, which is why we've been deep in all of the data, and I'm going to try to lay it out as clearly as possible by traveling through time. As
I know, it's like very deep in all the data. I talked to one person at the EPI who showed me the same slop graph that have gone viral on Twitter.
Is she from the EPI?
I think she's either from the EPI or the whatever this opportunity insight thing is. I'm
gonna show you.
Oh fuck. Yeah, no, Economic Policy Institute. Policy Research Economic Policy Institute. Let's go.
You got your fucking doomer slop from the big union.
I know, exactly. That's what I was complaining about when you first joined. It's like if you get funded by like a union, like you can just say like whatever you want and like it's good. But like if this video was like the same thing, but like the Cato Institute like shadow wrote it, like people would just dismiss it based off of the fact that like it's Cato, the billionaires fund it, but like it's union, so it's okay.
Yeah. Is my mic bad, by the way?
Traveling through time.
It's not like horrible, but like it's like it sounds like you're on your phone or something. But
okay, whatever.
Okay. As always, all of the assertions in this video are fact-checked and linked in our sources. So with that, let's start traveling back in time.
Can't repeat the past. Why, of course you can.
He hacking the sources,
the 1950s. As we move through time, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this main graph. This graph is kind of our anchor. It will be showing how the economy has grown over time. And again, it's adjusted for prices and population growth. When this graph goes up, it means that there's more economic prosperity to go around. We're going to see how it gets divided up. And for each decade, I'm going to be looking at these 4 economic indicators. Am I making more money? Can I afford a house? Is this economic growth being shared equally by everyone? And how likely am I to be making more than my parents? Oh, look, we're arriving to the 1950s.
Thank you. He's going to talk about housing.
So
finally, we're going to get someone who talks about housing, and no doubt he's going to talk about how to make housing cheaper by deregulating zoning laws, by getting rid of high limits and parking minimums and all of that. Surely he will talk about.
Surely he's going to go over the history of zoning laws and
housing more expensive equals like capitalism bad. Like that's what we're going to get.
I know.
You already know.
I know. It's gonna be. I don't know if he's dumb enough to do this, but I swear to God, if I hear about fucking corporations buying homes, bro, I'm gonna crash out.
True, they're buying the homes, man. They should not. I've had a convo with someone yesterday where it's like, oh, corporations should not buy any homes and not even cars. It's like, bro, what are you doing?
And I, the middle income earner, have just returned from fighting in the most devastating war of human history. But we Americans came out on top, and our economy is booming.
Wait. You already watched this, right?
No, I've skimmed through the video, but I've...
Okay. Are we gonna get infinite marginal tax rates in the 60s or something? Are we gonna get that meme?
No, no, that's in here. Don't worry, he's leading up to that. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Converted from making weapons to now making valuable stuff that we're shipping around the world. Our country is getting rich. I am making.
Manufacturing.
So my income right now is 4,400.
Yeah, don't worry, we get that too. We get the factories are going overseas at some point, which I can't wait. Can't wait for that one.
Does he adjust manufacturing for inflation, income for inflation in the figure on the top left?
Top left? I think so. Yeah.
Let's see.
$100. In today's money, that
no.
Okay,
he's about to say in today's money.
It's more like
$40,000. Also, again, he's going to use CPI throughout the video, which is worse than PCE. You should use PCE. Just a preemptive. Everyone watching, Johnny, I know you're watching this. You should have used PCE, not CPI. CPI sucks. Okay, keep playing.
Real. And it's annoying that like he uses like CPI without like explaining it at all, or without even telling people like, hey, there are different measures to inflation, and like economists disagree on like what measure is the best, and like if I use a different measure, then I we don't see the same effects. Like he's not going to explain that at all.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, this is CPI is the only valid, like it's like kill me dog.
In this case, $23. Prices are higher these days, so our money's more valuable to make it all make sense. Okay, wait, pause. I'm not going to do that every single time, like talk about the inflation. I'm just going to say everything from now on in modern dollars. It'll allow us to compare a lot easier between the decades. Okay, with that, let's get all the magic going again.
Okay.
Pretty cool, right? Let's meet my family. So my wife doesn't work. Only a third of women did back then. And really, she doesn't need to. My factory job supports the whole family. And look, I own that home. I paid $84,000 for this thing, again, in modern dollars. That's actually not that much more than my yearly salary. This is considered very affordable. And a major reason why is because the government is helping me pay for a lot of this. And they've got the cash to do it. I mean, look at the top tax rate for the rich.
Yes!
Let's go!
Yes, so
Let's
true.
go!
Yes,
Yes!
yes. Wait, don't forget, we had infinity unions as well.
Economy.
That's why we had that.
That's
high tax
true.
rates.
And they've got the cash to do it. I mean, look at the top.
So I mean, you know, one obviously like, people paint like a way rosier picture of the 1950s or whatever.
She doesn't need to.
Like, my factory job can buy a home and support my whole family. Well, like homes were just like a lot smaller back then, right? Like, you know, we
Yep.
should obviously be taking quality into account. Like, there are so many more families that have bigger homes and like own multiple cars now. And, you know, obviously with technology, it's like we just have
Yep.
way better stuff. And also, like, you know, if you look at actual median income, like he hasn't quite brought this up yet, but like actual median income has been on the rise.
Yeah, and again,
If
to
you-
be clear, you gotta play this weird game where it's like, oh, I'm gonna talk about everything in today's money, but like, okay, you're only looking at housing and a bunch of other like big stuff, which is a lot of government intervention there. But
Right.
like CPI already, half of it is housing. Half of CPI, I think you can look at the breakdown.
Yeah.
I think something like half of CPI is housing, and so why not just look at real wages, where half of it is housing and half of it is other very important stuff. You can use CPI. I prefer PCE, which I think is a third or a quarter housing. But again, whatever. Owner's equivalent rent, all this garbage, nonsense, whatever. But it's still like you can just look at real wages and divide by the price index, or like nominal divided by the price
Mhm.
index.
Gonna say
you
it's
get
actually
the
even
adjustment for
worse.
housing.
I know. It's actually even worse when you do like these long like when you use CPI before it was like in 1996, I think, or it might have been 1980, where they changed how they measure housing to owner's equivalent rent, because prior to using owner's equivalent rent, they essentially double counted housing, because they would consider like both home prices and like the interest you pay on your mortgage when in CPI. Like, that's why they switched to owner's equivalent rent, and that's why people have like the brain dead take of like, oh, if you use 1980s inflation measure, inflation is actually 1 trillion %.
Infinity
So
higher.
government
Yes,
is,
it's actually.
I know, government is
brilliant.
lying about inflation.
Yes.
So and like there's like a lot of CPI has gone through a number of changes, and they don't always update the old data with the new methodology. So like it's
Yeah.
you shouldn't be using CPI going back, like, I would say before the like Boston Commission, I think it's called, in 1996, is when they said like CPI is overestimating inflation by 1.1 percentage points per year, and obviously that compounds.
Which is huge.
So that's
Which is huge.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes,
exactly.
it's huge. Like if we assume if our target is 2% a year, that's more than half, right? But yeah.
So it's like I'm very even though like CPI.
Wait, when they say
obviously-
1%, they mean 1 percentage point, or like 1% of like the actual value. So like, do they mean?
I think like 1 percentage point. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what.
They didn't even account for sonic inflation. That's true.
That's true. That's true. True.
Yeah, that's rule number 34 in CPI now. Look up rule
Just
34
also-
sonic
yeah.
inflation
Just
to learn
use
more.
PCE. PCE is just infinity better. Like PCE just
Real.
like has the accounting for substitution bias. It's actually not just urban people, and it like also consumption on behalf of households. It's just better. And no owner's equivalent rent nonsense. Okay, yeah.
Right, yeah.
My factory job supports the whole family. And look, I own that home. I paid $84,000 for this thing, again in modern dollars. That's actually not that much more than my yearly salary. This is considered very affordable. And a major reason why is because the government is helping me pay for a lot of
I love this metric here. Housing equals affordable. Like, we're not even.
It is.
I know.
Yes.
We're
It's
not even doing like
affordable. Yes.
a price to income ratio or anything. We're just like, it's affordable. I feel like it's affordable. Like,
Affordable. Yes. Yes.
this. And they've got the cash to do it. I mean, look at the top tax rate for the rich.
wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Checking
Yes.
It was. Wait. Is
Yes.
that 90%? What? Wait. What is this substat?
90%.
Wait,
We used to
what?
tax millionaires 90%. It's like,
It was actually infinity percent. Oh my god, kill me. Kill me.
So look,
Yes.
obviously, first thing to mention, very, very few people pay these tax rates. Like, it is like literally like under like 400 people in most of these years like actually paid any amount of tax in this bracket. And if you look at like the effective tax rate, because a lot of these people, shifted their income like away from labor income that's taxed at these high brackets and towards like capital gains that was taxed at much lower rates. And like it kept it in their corporations, which were taxed at lower rates. Like if you look at the effective tax rates, even Saez and Zuckman, okay, and Piketty, even their estimate, it shows that like effective tax rates for the rich were like not significantly higher in the 60s or whatever than they are today, right? Like it falls a little bit. And I'm not familiar with all the assumptions they made in this paper. Now, knowing these
Splinter
people,
and Otten?
knowing knowing these three, the three inequality gods, okay.
PSC.
It wouldn't surprise
Yeah,
me if they made some dumb assumptions, and then like, obviously, I mean, it says down here, it mentions the David Splinter thing. Like, there's other economists who disagree with their assumptions.
No. I think everyone should take a look at like the literature around AS, basically Otten Splinter. They show, I mean, taxes and spending has become more progressive over time. Inequality has stayed relatively flat. You can find other estimates that find inequality slightly increasing from the Luxembourg income group, and find some estimates that income inequality has fallen from the book The Myth of American Inequality by three people. They do the adjustments there as well. And I mean, and Otten and Splinter are very rigorous. They respond to all the critiques. They're publishing constantly and updates, and they're updating the methodology. I think they're better, but But either way, still, it's like, why are we doing this slop garbage that I've heard a bajillion times? That it's like 90% top marginal tax rate, like that. What the fuck? What does it have to do with anything? Like, so housing was affordable because top marginal tax rates were high. Like, what's the fucking connection? Is it government buying everything for everyone? No. And let's look at countries right now. Like, okay, we can take a look at Israel. Israel has a 50% top marginal tax rate, right? Certainly not 90, but no one paid the 90 back in the day. So it's like 50. Oh, does Israel have no housing crisis? Oh wait, it fucking hella does. So this is dumb. This is stupid. Stop doing this.
Right. And hold on, I had the graph, then I lost it. What the fuck? I have the Myth of American Inequality pulled up, and like it has the graph from, I think it might be the same David Splinter paper. It might be a different one.
No, I think
where'd it go? I literally
just Myth of American Inequality have a different.
Yeah, right. But it shows basically the same thing. Like, if we look at, I have found it. Woohoo! If we look at like the actual effective tax rate, it's basically flat for the top 1% and 10% over this time period. They didn't raise much revenue. If you look at the top income tax rate, income tax revenue as a percentage of GDP, it spikes up and down, but it's overall, over the long run during this period, it's pretty flat. These are.
Wait, take a look at these graphs. Show them on. I sent you with another one. This is from Otten and Splinter.
What is this?
This is Otten and Splinter. This is the first graph.
Income shares, per capita income.
Nope. Wait, it's Horizon? What? Impossible.
What? And then, like, obviously, you should consider transfers too, because transfers have grown quite a bit. But
yeah, of course. I mean, again, if you're making a video about how things have changed, you should talk about how the things people feel at the end of the day have changed, and stuff. Part of the stuff people feel at the end of the day is what people get from the government. Unless your entire video's purpose is hecking capitalism bad, and then we're not looking at what the government helps with. Like, stop this. Very bad. Very bad.
So you can see...
But no. You are deep in the data, for sure. Thank you, EPI students.
I know, deep in the data.
Deep in the data, yes. I'm sure he can talk to me about the flaws of Otten Splinter and the responses they had to Piketty and the Brookings Institute and stuff. I'm sure.
Right.
Deep in the data. He knows.
Very
he knows
educated,
what he's talking about. Very well educated. No doubt.
He's considered all the evidence and just really thinks that, Sayez and Zuckman is the end all be all, bro. Like, but yeah, these are two figures. I think they're from the same paper.
So, not fun. I've read all the evidence. I've read all the papers. I've read all the books, and I've come to the conclusion that peasants used to work negative days in the year, and actually stock buybacks are responsible for the low marginal income tax rates that we have right now. And we used to have infinity taxes back in the day. And also, as you know, a bajillion % of Americans are paycheck to paycheck, and we have 120% of Americans are in poverty. And in fact, things have not changed, not fun. Back in the 1960s, we had 25% of people in the bottom quartile of people. Can you think about this? This is insane. And we still have that today. We have not fixed that.
They still have
This is so bad. It's so bad.
Pot of 25. Right. Yeah, both of these things, they're the David's AS whatever, or AD AS.
AS,
yeah. Both showing taxes have gotten more progressive over time. He's just citing the same slop that all these like union people do. Okay, all these union funded think tanks
big
like
union.
The site.
Call them big union.
No,
Call them
actual,
big
yeah,
union.
exactly. Big union. They didn't raise much revenue. Okay, they didn't. No one actually paid these. Like 400 people paid these, and like the effective rate was much lower. It's meaningless.
So
Wait, Nathan, why are you talking about the effective rate? I thought, like, he said they had no problem because they could fund it. That means you should look at the top rate, right? That's what people actually at the end of the day.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, wait, it's not as fucking all. So stop giving me this flop. Do you think I'm dumb? He does think his audience is dumb. He doesn't. They don't care. They never care. Either way, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
helping build all of these suburban homes, and is giving us veterans good deals on mortgages so that we can get in on the prospering U.S. economy, start building wealth by owning a home.
Our returning serviceman who was starting his own business would get a financial boost from the government. How money would be advanced to buy property or a home.
We're coming out of World War II. There are absolutely lots of public programs. Policymakers today and back then had a lot to do with how typical workers and their families were doing.
Okay, so the economy is booming. Let's see how all of this prosperity is being shared. And for that, I'm going to show you this amazing graph. I love this graph. We're going to see it over the decades, and it tells a very useful story. This is my income, the median earner. Here's the income of the top earners, and this line is the low income America. And down here is
top earners. Yes.
What is?
I know what top means.
I know.
I know what top means. Yeah.
And low. What is it?
And like low, yes. Top versus low, yes. Thank you. Low. Thank you. Low versus top, yes. Reminds me of the like Jones and Page 2014 paper where they define like elites as the top 10%. Like, hello? Are you okay? But okay.
I don't even know what is he even using for this. I don't think he does. He even have this fucking graph cited.
Years. Okay, watch what happens. Ready, go. Look at this. Look what's happening. All three of these income brackets are increasing their income at the same rate. We are all getting in on this prosperity. We are sharing the spoils of
Is this
nice.
Wait,
in the roughly 2-3 decades.
What's the note at the bottom? The note at the bottom. Is it after
I can't read it. It's just a real family
we're all getting in
source CBPP calculations based on Census Bureau.
We are sharing the spoils of a booming economy. Nice.
In the roughly 2-3 decades after World War II, we saw what I would consider broadly shared prosperity. As the economy grew, as workers became more productive, workers across the board were actually seeing gains in their living standards.
This is a great indicator that income equality in the United States is good and healthy. Okay, last thing for the 1950s, let's check in on the American dream. Can I move up the ladder? There's a really nice data set for this that says that I am nearly 100%
Hello? What does it mean? If you have the same percentage growth in both populations, it doesn't mean that inequality is healthy. It just means that it's not increasing. Right? Like you could have a Gini of like 0.9 while still the same percentage growth, and then you'd keep a Gini of 0.9. What is this? Come on. Do they think I'm dumb? What is this?
Right. I'm less familiar with the upward mobility thing because I haven't read the like American Dream is not dead yet. I need to read that. But from my understanding, we are relatively upwardly mobile. But he apparently has whatever his data source is for this. I bet it's also fucking big.
I recall it being
there's upward
about
motion
the same as Finland, but either way, like I don't know what the source for this is. I don't know.
Right.
American dream is alive, at least for me, which is an important caveat here. Women were mostly left
out
of
of
this.
Is he going to show the
so
percentage of Gen Z that own a home? Is he going to show the graph of like home ownership by age of each generation? Surely he
Yeah.
is, because that's very relevant. Like, what's the video title? 1955 versus 2025. What actually changed?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, whoa. I mean, yeah, that's gonna be very relevant, right? Oh,
Yeah,
I
you should
forgot.
show,
Everything
like,
is
are we gonna
infinitely
show-
bad. Like,
Are we gonna show like median income by age? Because like the Gen Zers also have like higher median income by age. Even if you use like CPI, by the way, and just look at wages and not total compensation, when obviously non-wage compensation has increased since the 50s and everything, Gen Z still has higher median income than their parents did at the same age.
also,
And that's
never ever forget. Johnny Harris got debunked, got destroyed, got owned by Money and Macro. Okay, he owns you, little bro. I know you're watching this, Joni. Okay, he owns you, little bro. Okay.
Right. Like this is this is using CPI and looking at only private market income, so not transfers, and obviously government transfers have increased as a percentage of people's income and everything. And Gen Z is still doing better than the parents at the same age. Like
Nope.
this one is using CPI. It's like, yeah.
Black Americans, 10% of the
Before
population,
transfers
over a
and
million of whom
before
fought
like the
in the
actual
war, but
income, inflation rate.
Exactly.
upon returning, were met with these custom maps that were drawn to determine where they could and could not buy homes. They were largely left out of all of this government help that allowed me to get education and buy a home and build wealth. But if you're just looking at the numbers, the 1950s was a really good time for the median income earner. You could have a family, work in a factory, and be loaded with opportunities to move up the economic ladder, thanks to a booming economy and a bunch of government programs. So now let's move forward in time to the 1970s.
Wait, say it. Say his
Welcome to
name.
the
I wanna hear his name.
I know. I know it's coming. It's
You
coming.
know who it is.
I can't wait. I can't
He's
wait.
coming.
Trickle down,
Say his
Reagan.
name.
Trickle down, Reagan. Trickle. Like,
yes. Say his
70s,
name.
a lot has changed. The economy is producing a lot more prosperity to go around, as you can see by this graph, and we'll see how that's all being distributed in a second. But first, let's check in on my pay. I'm still working in a factory. I now earn about $66,000. That's an improvement from the 50s. Or should I say we? Like millions of other women, my wife has entered the workforce. They still only earn 60% of what men do, but look, they're breaking into the workforce. Nearly half of all women are going to be working by the end of the decade. Partly as a push for freedom and economic autonomy, but partly as a necessity. It's becoming harder for a family to be supported by a single earner. The result is that our income is better off than it was in the 50s.
what a cool source for that claim, by the way.
Yep.
But things are also kind of expensive right now. Inflation is up, partly because there's war in the Middle East and they're cutting us off oil, so there's long lines at these gas stations and everything is more expensive. Anyway, check out my house. I had to pay $230,000 for this house. Housing is getting more expensive and the government is raising the
Oh,
interest.
semi affordable. Let's go. Let's go. What is the
What is
like?
it? Semi-affordable. Yes, it's hacking semi-affordable. Yes. Thank you.
Why don't we just like have like the price to income ratio? And like again, there's like no analysis of what is actually driving housing prices. Like it very much like could be potentially Johnny Harris. Just a thought here, like government regulation in the form of zoning laws, like that could potentially maybe be a big driver of housing costs. It's like
Yeah.
it's
To be fair,
it's not like
he is
they're-
just talking about not the causes. He's just talking about the general thing, like the general
Well,
changes.
sure.
But still, like it's like saying, oh, let's look at the Jewish population over time. Oh, it just gets cut by half at like around the 1940s. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. And then it's like, okay, well, okay, why? Right? It's like, okay,
I know, just like
whatever. Yeah.
Interest rate to slow down inflation, which is making my monthly payment a little more expensive. Home purchasing is becoming a little less accessible to the median, but I still have this cool house. Okay, let's go back to this super useful graph that tells us how the economic spoils are being shared.
Hecking super
Remember, that's me,
useful,
the
yes.
median income earner. And look, my income continues to grow at the same rate as the high income and low income earners in our country. The growing economy is being shared by these different income groups. It's actually pretty impressive how like tight everything is moving together as the economy grows.
quality equal. Let's go. Oh,
Like,
see
show
your
the-
pay,
show the-
dude. Yes.
Show
Yes!
the David Splinter graph again about like the quintile growth, top quintile, middle quintile, whatever.
Yeah.
Show that. Everyone, we need to hammer it home. These people need to respond to the data that disagrees with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
People, yeah, they just don't care.
Look at this.
Like,
Yeah, they don't give a.
and also, there's a lot of stuff in the myth of American inequality that has
yeah.
a bunch of like, oh yeah, bottom, top, middle, like all this stuff, and also it talks about like government transfers and like everything like that. I don't know if this is measuring only wage compensation or like only private market compensation, or if it's measuring benefits
It's
too.
being shared by these different income groups. It's actually pretty impressive how.
Real family
Actually, we
income
can just
growth.
open Fred. Let me fucking open Fred and look up median family. Like, do we have data for like the top family stuff? But I'll look into that later. But okay, I found it. Median family income, and then let's divide by PCE first index.
Hold on. This is like
divide.
this is a cool chart that shows the growth in like income in the older quintiles. And it shows what percent of it is like benefits and taxes and transfers and stuff. So you can see like the top quintile has a lot of income growth, but also they take a lot of out of it. You know,
Wait, we can't see the graph.
Taxes.
We cannot.
Maybe
you can
Stream
see
can see it.
Okay,
It's in Zotero, so I'm not streaming Zotero to you. And you can see the bottom quintile has a lot of high income growth, but a lot of that is transfers. It's government benefits. So if you're only looking at private market income, well, yeah, you would see that the bottom quintile hasn't gained that much, but that's because we have like a large amount of redistribution. Like, yeah.
Am I hot micing, by the way?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But I mean, this is a good article from Cato. U.S. median household income has risen more than they think. They go over like CPI can be a little cringe sometimes, and then like household size has declined, so you should adjust for that if you're looking at household income, because people just have less people living with them. You don't need to support as many people.
Yep.
And they're like, oh wow, it's going up over time, guys. You got to make sure you look at total compensation and not just wage compensation, because employers are sort of paying out more health insurance benefits and more 401k contributions compared to the past. So you have to look at total compensation, and like that'll show is median income is going up, believe it or not. But also, even if you just look at hourly wages, even then, like for all the reasons I mentioned earlier, you don't want to just like deflate wages with CPI and everything. But even then, they declined for a period of time. Now, if you use PCE, they didn't really do that, but they're still higher than they ever have been. Like, and this is hourly wages.
Yeah. And you should use PCE. This is not something I'm willing to like just forgive or like.
I know, yeah,
away.
you should.
It's very bad that you're making a video that more than 1 million people are going to watch, where you're not even considering the alternative inflation measures. You're just using whatever like the popular one is. Like, it's not acceptable. Don't say you're deep in the data if you just don't make the like explanation for why you choose the specific inflation measure.
Right.
Tight everything is moving together as the economy grows. Oh, and look, they've started collecting data on how much more CEOs are making than.
Let's go. Yes. This is the most important thing ever. CEO pay. Yes.
The typical employee. Looks like by the middle of the decade, it's about 26 times more. Wait, are CEOs making too much? Is that bad? What do you think? I don't know. Let's keep an eye on this chart as time continues.
I don't know.
Yes, it's up to the average person to determine how much like CEOs should earn. Like, what is this garbage? Like, you think he earns too much? Yes. Okay. Cool. Like, your opinion matters. Like, it's like stop. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, Tyler Cohen has a good he has a good chapter about this in his big business book where he talks about this. Like, if you look at the data, like we have data from when CEOs are like suddenly hospitalized, and we can look at the effects on like company stock prices and everything. What that shows, we can determine approximately like how much a CEO is like worth to a company. And CEOs actually tend to capture less of their marginal product as a percentage than like the typical worker does. So like the typical worker can collect like it's like basically 85% of their marginal product, but CEOs only get 68 to 73% of the value that they bring to firms. So like
and also I don't think this is accurate. Like, I think you can find on Fred the chief executive pay. I don't think this is true. I also don't know what the fuck typical worker is. Like, the EPI defines it sometimes like as median, sometimes they define it as like manufacturing, like, or something like that. I forgot the exact thing they use for this, but I don't know what typical worker is. You should make it explicit. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, I think he does have the mobility chart in here. I think it's just, or not. Never mind. Okay.
Let's see.
But yeah, like notice it. There's no like He's basically also just arbitrarily deciding like when he thinks like CEO pay is too much. Like is 200 times CEO pay, too much compared to the average worker? Like if we were living in the world where CEO pay was instead of 400 times average worker was only 300 times, would he? I feel like he would be like equally upset. You mean this paper? I think. How long is this paper? Goddamn.
What paper?
Capitalists in the 21st century. Oh, there hamsters go. Okay, goddamn.
Very sad. What exactly in this paper?
Bob Marley sent it. I don't know. I think this is a paper that you were talking about. This article asks whether top pass-through profit mostly reflects human capital, defined as inalienable factors embodied in business owners rather than financial capital. Blah, 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 blah.
I think this is unfair. Okay, but what about the American dream? How easy it is to make more than your parents? Well, if I'm an adult in the 1970s, it means I was born in the 1950s, which according to this data set means I'm 80% likely to earn more than my parents. I mean, pretty good. The American dream.
Again, I really don't know what data he's citing for this. I don't think it's in his source document. I don't know why this one isn't in the source document, but like, I mean, I think if you look at the data in the American Dream is not dead, but populism could kill it, which I haven't quite read it yet. I think it shows basically the opposite. We seem to be relatively upwardly mobile.
Seems to be doing pretty well. So I would say that economic life in the 1970s is better for the median earner than it was in the 50s. And something that we're not covering here because we're looking at the cold hard data is that there's also a revolution happening that's making it more equal and more fair for minority groups in the United States. So these are good trends. Let's see how they continue as we move on to the 1990s.
Wait, do you call that a revolution?
No. I mean, no. I've never heard it referred to as that, really.
Kids are gonna love it.
To get to the 90s, we have to go through the 80s and look at all of this economic growth. The president has been very busy.
Wow! Yes! Yes!
What is this graph?
Did you not see Reagan pop up for a second?
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't see that. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, the graph. Yeah, you can see.
This the management matters graph?
Maybe.
Is
this the? I think this is the. Is this
yeah,
the one?
Yeah. After they die or retire. Yeah. I know this graph.
Yeah.
It's the DID before they die or retire. Yeah.
Slashing taxes, getting rid of regulation and social programs, and rejiggering the economy to benefit businesses, making it harder for workers to gather and get leverage over their employers.
Ronald Reagan.
True. Wonderful source here that we have for this. By the way, I like how he's just saying He's just saying they do
he did
typical
infinity bad, and that's why housing is expensive because Reagan cut taxes. Yes,
Reagan unions trickle down.
Yes, thank you.
And look, we are arriving to the 1990s. What a great decade. Hi, me again. I'm out of the collage.
Okay, I'm pretty good at sponsor. Don't care.
Thank you, Saley, for sponsoring today's video. Let's leave my room full of maps and get back into the 1990s. The big standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union is over, and people are stoked. We enter the 1990s with this little recession. We're getting ready for a big surge of more growth thanks to the rise of the internet. Remember, I am still playing the role of the middle income earner, okay? So it's not like I was born back in the 50s and I've been growing up. I am a young adult who is the middle income earner. How am I doing? So I still work at a factory. America is still a manufacturing powerhouse here in the 90s, though that is literally right about to change. I wish I could warn myself. My household brings in $76,000 a year, which is definitely better than the 50s and 60s, but you can kind of see that things are flattening out. And in fact, I'm not making that much more than I was in the late 70s.
I don't even know. Source St. Louis Fred.
Also, wait. Also, don't know what the API is using for their source about fucking worker versus CEO. Because the median CEO compensate or annual wage is about 20K. Not 20K, 200K. My bad. I missed 200K. So that's not 300 times more than the average worker. Okay. Sorry, it isn't. It isn't. So why? Why are they saying this? I have no clue. Are they looking at only the top 1% of CEO? What are they doing? I
don't know. I'm not familiar with their methodology for CEO pay specifically. I just you know, it's just
Everything
like
is
such
from the
a.
API is shady. So, for example, like
I
they
know.
have the wage theft memes, and it's like I think, again, I don't want to speak with that. Like I want to couch this. I didn't. It's been like 2 years since I taken a look at this, but I think they just looked at like 3 cities and extrapolated it for the entire United States. Like, and okay, you cannot do
Let's
that.
go.
Whoa,
Right,
swag,
but
my
like,
goat. Yeah, yes, my goat. What's up? Where's
like CEO
debunking
pay just
Johnny
seems
Depp?
like such a non-issue. Like even if it is like 400 times the amount of average work or whatever, like your real issue is inequality. Like why not just talk about inequality? And like you're gonna cite dumb shit on inequality because the EPI is dumb shit on inequality. It's like
Yep.
Yo,
Yeah.
guys,
For this,
how's it going?
well, we're losing our minds. For this Johnny Harris guy, he's like, yeah, we went deep into the data, guys, and we're gonna talk about what changed since like in the 1955. And for this, we have this fucking researcher from the EPI. Yes, thank you, the most rigorous and well acclaimed. Thank you. I get my
The
English
Employment
Republican.
Policy Institute or the Economic Policy Institute? 'Cause
Which
apparently
one
there's
do
two
you
of them.
think?
Policy Institute.
Which one do you think?
Well,
No,
I'm
EPI
gonna
and
give
then
a
early-
98% probability that it's the
No,
economic.
It's the better EPI. It's the early porn introduction. That's what the EPI is.
Let's go.
Yeah, either way. So we're losing our mind. So not fun. Just open Google, type median CEO annual salary. Like it's not 300 times more than the median salary. It's not.
this is 16 million. There's no way
Well,
that's
no,
right
this
now.
Wait. No, that's not what I've seen. No,
Median
this is
total
not.
compensation for CEO. Sample text
Um,
debunk.
I'm seeing how much is the CEO. The chief executive made a salary of 200K in 2023. I don't know what they're citing here. What is the search for? Maybe there's like a different compensation that takes into account capital gains.
This is according to Al Jazeera, so I don't.
No, maybe. I don't know. Like, again, you can quibble about like is compensation including stocks or whatever, and then maybe that's not too surprising. But I'm seeing
Right.
multiple sources say it's 200.
Well, this is BLS. The BLS says like 258,000. I think.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, I was saying BS data. It could be that they're not
It's like-
accounting for capital gains, like they're paid in stocks, and maybe that's not accounted as salary.
Right.
It could be. I don't fully know. But it's just like, why are we not getting into any of these details? Like, are we just sacrificing all of it for
I
like
know.
attention?
There's also been he hasn't
Whatever.
quite gone over it yet. I'm assuming he's about to show the graph of like the top earners versus low earners, whatever that means, and show like, oh, top earners are earning so much more. There's also like no analysis of like why that is. Like, is it just a case potentially just spitballing here that like technology like increases the demand for skilled labor relative to unskilled labor, and like skilled people become way more productive, and unskilled workers don't necessarily like
Wait,
whenever...
so you think productivity tracks with wages? Very, very innocent. Innocent baby. I have something to tell you. Okay.
kind of see that things are flattening out. And in fact, I'm not making that much more than I was in the late 70s. Check out my cool 90s house. It cost me $270.
Oh, the EPI article says we focus on the average compensation of CEOs at the 350 largest publicly owned U.S. firms.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what,
it's like,
that's
yeah.
what
$3,000. That's almost 4 times our yearly income. Way more expensive than in the 50s. Housing is getting a little less affordable. Okay, the economy's doing well.
Less
How are we
affordable.
sharing all of this economic prosperity? Remember, we started back in the 50s, and we saw how the high income, the low income, and me, the middle income, we all saw similar growth in our income gains. We all got in on economic growth equally. That
Oh, no.
continued through the 70s. But wait, look what happens right here.
Whoa. Reagan!
What?
No,
They're
no, Reagan!
It's around the 1980s
What?
when you see the top earners start to pull
No.
away from the rest of us. Their income is going up faster than
Show
mine,
the splinter
and my
graph.
income is
again.
going.
Show the splinter graph again. Every time he says this, show the splinter graph. Yes. Show it.
Again, there's just like no... I don't even know what data he's using here because he doesn't have it linked in his sources thing.
You
I
just
don't know what
it.
to like...
You just know it. You just know it.
But I'm guessing what he's doing here is using CPI to deflate compensation. I think it says real family income growth. So I'm assuming it counts non-wage compensation as well, but maybe it doesn't even do that. Who fucking knows? And that's we discussed again. You should probably include non-wage compensation. And when you do that,
No, I mean this
first
looks
of
like
all,
it's
did
it's
they-
adjusted for inflation. Like It seems like it is divided by CPI because otherwise you would see a lot higher growth.
Yeah.
It's usually not linear if it's not adjusted for inflation.
Right, but like here's the David Splinter thing. We were just looking at the Cato thing, which goes over all the kind of dumb assumptions in graphs like these, and then shows that they're
But don't
their
you
own
know that
graph
Cato
shows that
is
it's-
a motivated think tank? That's why we're citing the
I know,
EPI.
yeah. Unlike EPI, it's like,
Yeah.
oh dear God, yeah.
Going up a little faster than the low-income population. Okay, that's unsettling.
Sam, thank
Oh,
you. Yes, Sam. Sam, what's up?
What's up? What's up?
We're
Yo, man,
getting
it's Mike
the slop. We're getting the slop. No, Sam is here to defend the EPI. He's going to defend them.
I
He's
know,
gonna
Sam's
side with
gonna-
the union.
No,
this is
he's
the
gonna.
thing. I'm not
We're
gonna.
about to get
I'm
a
not
defense
gonna,
of the
oh
pay
my
versus
God,
productivity
I'm
gap.
not
Oh,
gonna.
no.
I'm not. I spend too much time looking at dumb shit. Like Sabotex trolled me yesterday, and I spent 3 hours trying to debunk the troll. Okay, I'm not.
I didn't even. No, it's not a troll. A troll is when you pretend to be serious, but you're actually. No, I made a very explicit, obvious joke, and you
Yeah, but I
just
mean,
misread it.
there was another guy that replied to you that also thought you went serious. That also thought you
Okay,
were
that's
serious.
their fault as well. That's their fault as well.
Yeah,
I didn't
this is
read
the,
the-
I just need to be. I need to be less sidetracked. Like I saw non-cons, Sai Zuckman debunked today, or like when he cited the Graham, the myth of American inequality book, and I was like, okay, do I need to go over it? Do I need to read the like 96-page appendix that like Piketty, Size of Zuckman have to like this study which they get this from, where they justify all the assumptions? I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
No,
So,
and again,
non-con gets a W.
well,
Okay.
did you read the I think the initials were IR response to Splinter? He decided it, but Splinter and Auden responded to that, and they were talking about like how, if I recall correctly, it's been like 2 months or something. But like they have really high quality adjustments from like randomized audits of the IRS. Like it seems very, very careful, very rigorous. And
Dude,
no,
you're trying
they-
to draw me in again. You're trying to draw me in.
I am. Waste
Trying to
your
get me
time.
to,
Sam.
trying to get
no.
me to reread the IR, which I already know that like they don't respond to all the critiques. I can't remember all the critiques off the top of my head. So
Oh.
that's the bro. This anyway. What?
I'm fine. Did I send you the new study debunking Piketty? Did I show it?
No, I don't think so. No.
I'll send
Oh,
it to you.
I already know all this guy's studies as well. This is the study.
No, you don't. No, you
It's,
don't. Just yesterday I showed you a study you didn't know about.
Oh,
like
we're
the
never
central
getting
bank
through this
independence
video.
thing.
Oh no. Oh man.
I
no,
already
keep
know-
playing, keep
I already
playing, keep
know
playing.
The studies it's like it's testing R greater than G.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. See, I do know the study. I do know the
Yeah,
study.
well, okay. You know, also, just before we continue, Piketty published like a paper like 2 weeks ago or something about unequal exchange or whatever. Like, he didn't cite any of the, like, he didn't cite Hickel or other guys. But also, I think the paper, like, I didn't look too deep into the methodology, but it seems like he's just relying on new data sets he developed and whatever. And I don't trust Piketty very much with developing data sets about stuff. But yeah, either way.
Okay.
More when they were all kind of like on top of each other, growing at the same rate. We'll keep an eye on this graph, but there's a bunch of other graphs starting to come out. Another divergence happening.
Wait.
Let's go. Let's go. Yes. Yes.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking
this
go.
the-
Not fun. Do I send you all
is
the
this the-
bajillion?
EPI chart? Is it the EPI chart?
Yeah, all this video is EPI.
It's
along
like the
video,
worst
there's, like, a
version of the
researcher.
EPI chart too. It's like
Wait, no way it is. No
Let's-
way it is. Wait. Let it play. Let's see how it is.
Yeah,
by
It
the end.
is versus how much I get
'Cause if
paid.
it is the
Both going up
worst
at the same
one,
time,
then
I'm more productive, I get paid more.
let's-
Cool. But around the same time, the same split
Okay.
happens. My pay starts to flatline, even as productivity continues to go up.
So the
What's
latest
the
period that starts
percentage
around
growth they
1979.
attribute to?
Oh, who's this? Who's
This is the
Who's
EPI.
going-
It's some
She's an EPI.
EPI girl. Yeah.
Oh,
Who Shadow wrote the video, paid by Big
Not
Union.
based. Not based. Damn, they're not
hey,
based.
she can defend all the
No.
assumptions. She can defend.
No, but they cannot though. They cannot.
They don't.
But
They don't. I mean,
why
she
are they
doesn't do
comparing
it.
Different group. Well, look, it's better
I
that he's
know,
not showing
right.
the graph where they actually use two different fucking deflators for like 5 days or something. Okay, but like It's still a bad graph. Wait, to be clear, it's still a bad graph. Wait.
I don't know if it's the same graph.
No. He look. He took the data, which you can download, and just recreated it for a video. So they chose different colors. Either way,
Yeah,
throughout the video,
I mean, this is what
red
he.
and like blue. Wait, but very quickly. They're using two different groups for the different.
Okay.
Yeah, they're using two different groups. Like we can go over like my debunking of you on Twitter where you didn't respond to it, because you know you're wrong. Yeah.
I'm trying to wait for my friend's dissertation to come out. Okay.
I believe that. Wait, let me finish. So they compare different groups. You don't, and we can tell.
No. The reason I don't care is like Summers uses the same methodology, and he thinks the EPI methodology is fine, but he reaches the conclusion that productivity has gone with pay. So
no, I don't care what Summers thinks. I care about what the other like recreations of this thing. And for one, they use two different groups. Okay, you don't look. I watched this part of the video. He says like, look, I get more productive, but I get paid less. Oh no, but like these are two different groups.
I know, yeah, it's two different groups. So hold on, for the audience, okay, who isn't super ingrained in the pay versus productivity, the EPI slop chart debate thing. Okay, one of the big issues that they have here is that for productivity, they're measuring all workers, and then for wages, they're measuring only production and non-supervisory workers. So that's like. That's workers that are supposed to be more representative of like the median, like average American worker. So really, I mean, the issue is obviously it could, hypothetically, it could be the case that people who, the high income earners are simply more productive.
I think,
and they're getting.
Wait, non-fun. Show this image. Show the audience this image. Show them this image.
Right. Wow.
Oh my god, the Mercatus Center. My favorite.
Yep. And they're also citing heritage at the bottom to make make their brains explode.
Let's go. But I mean, even the EPI, has their chart where they basically explain this. This chart is really just just showcasing the inequality compensation. It's most of the chart is explained by wage inequality and not like. Evil CEO is keeping wages down or something like.
Are you sure, guys?
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of the labor theory of value and surplusy theory?
Also, wait, to be clear, Sam, you said they didn't change their methodology over time on Twitter. You can see that was flat out wrong, right? Like they did change their methodology.
Well, like I, from what I can remember, they've got like a gazillion graphs, and they're like, here's what this graph.
Yeah, so they changed the methodology.
This thing, and then I mean, you could show me like archive or something, maybe.
Here we go. Wait, an archive of the no. You can see it. Like everyone knows that they used originally the GDP deflator for productivity and then CPI for wages, but now they say it in their way. And if you go to their thing, they say that they fixed it now.
You're the devil. You're trying to get me into re-looking this up, but I won't dance for you.
We don't have time to re-look this up right now.
Maybe don't join the call, buddy, bucko. Okay, keep playing. Whatever.
True, real.
Wait.
But for the audience,
can I send you all the graphs that debunk it? Can I send you like a bunch of graphs you show them on screen? Yeah, okay.
For the audience, Sample is totally correct. They used to have this other chart for pay versus productivity, and this was using two different deflators. So they were adjusting hourly compensation with CPI, but they were adjusting productivity with GDP deflator, I think. And that you don't want to have two different deflators on the same graph, and you're trying to compare two different things. You should probably be using the same deflator. But yeah.
Yeah.
But now,
1 second, I'm pasting all of them.
They both use CPI with the new ones.
1 second. There's another one I should find. These will suffice, okay? Just show all of them on. You can just show all of them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, isn't this just... Are these all like the same data? Just compiled with
No.
these...
It's different. It's different.
Right. But these are all showing the same thing when you look at real based true data. Like,
You're
that does not
actually
really
being
exist.
correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then that's right. It doesn't even the non-supervisory and production employees or whatever doesn't include self-employed people. Stover consumption, output price deflators, using inflation formulas, and then examining some work instead of all employees.
Yeah.
Which again, like you
And
can,
this
you
is
can have
for what
issues.
it's worth. Yeah, go ahead.
Like you can have issues with like wage inequality, but just be clear, like your issue is wage inequality. Like you don't like that high skilled workers
This
are
is my
earning more or
recreation.
whatever. Like
This is my recreation of it. It may be imperfect, but this is my recreation of it. Doesn't seem like a gap, buddy. Thank you, Reagan. Thank you, Reagan.
Well, no, it's actually the gold
Yes.
standard, though. Haven't you seen the libertarian accounts on Twitter?
Yeah, what happened
what
in
about-
1971, bro? It's the gold standard.
Oh yes, it's the gold standard. Yeah.
Right, but like even the EPI again will show. I don't think that's from the EPI. Some of the difference in productivity pay is from different price deflators. Some of it's from the labor share decline, but most of it is due to the inequality of compensation. It's because they're comparing a subset of workers to the entire economy's
workers,
productivity.
yeah. Yeah, which you shouldn't do, especially when you present it like
Right.
this. Go back for 30 seconds. He's gonna say, "I become more productive."
I know
but I earn less."
it's a
Not
crazy
true,
crazy
not
way of
the same
framing
group.
it.
Not the same
How much
group.
I get paid. They're both going up at the same time. I'm more productive. I get paid more. Cool. But around the same time, the same split happens. My pay starts to flatline,
Yeah, dude.
even as productivity continues to go up.
So then
So it's like
Fucking
I get
lie.
paid. I'm the
Fucking
median.
lie.
I know.
Dude, this guy is like Joe Francis, and we're like Phil Magnus, just trying to correct
That's
him
right.
over and
That's
over
right.
again.
True.
He's gonna call us a hacker a bajillion times. That's true.
Francis the goat. Francis the goat. Magnus.
Francis is not the guy.
Magnus,
Magnus
has been
destroyed
cool.
him.
Magnus has been fine recently, but
Magnus destroyed Francis. Francis has not been okay. Francis has repeatedly deleted stuff when he's been like corrected. He is fucking called him
Magnus
a hacker.
is literally like an outright. Magnus is an outright liar. That's the thing.
What did he lie about?
Magnus
What did he
is
lie
like-
about?
Whoa.
Well, for instance, in the debate with Bob
No, I'm
Murphy
talking about
brought it up
Francis.
on
I'm
the-
talking with Francis. I don't care about what like I don't love every take he has. I'm saying with regards
Okay.
to Francis, he's absolutely destroyed him. Francis has deleted stuff without taking accountability for him being wrong. Like he literally thought T statistics means the effect size of the or like the I forget exactly what it, but he misinterpreted T statistics. You should write a paper if you do that. He and then deleted it. Didn't take accountability. It looks like he p-hacked his like Thomas Mann example in the Marx synthetic control paper. And Magnus is like repeatedly Ravon was like, "Oh, I reran your thing," and like it seems like you p-hacked. He accused Magnus of p-hacking a bajillion times, but it seems like he did p-hacking. It's insane. It's projected. I don't like him.
Yeah, I don't know
At
why
least
he
he's
used
larger.
that specific example. Like in synthetic control, you're supposed to get the null distribution by running it over and over again. So for him just to pick one example is kind of silly.
Yeah, not only that, it's also like you know when he writes threads. So he wrote these 2 or something papers about like slavery or something, showing that it was actually economically beneficial, and whatever. And he in the introduction he was like talking about like economists love institutions or whatever, and therefore they can like say slavery was bad. I forgot something, but it was very weird. Like the slavery economics debate has nothing to do with like Asimoglu institutions debate. Like it has simply nothing.
You know what,
Whatever.
Simple? I agree.
Anything
The slavery
responsible
economics
data.
debate has nothing to do with anything right now.
Okay, buddy. Okay.
We
I'm
have
talking
to-
about Francis. He brought it up. Okay, keep playing.
No,
Keep
I
playing,
know,
keep
I
playing.
know. I know, yeah.
Around the same time, the same split happens. My pay starts to flatline, even as productivity continues to go up.
Wait,
So
now
there's this
can
period
you
that starts
dislike
around
the video
1960.
again?
Let me go dislike it on my second account on my phone.
in the
yeah.
early 80s, where we
No,
see
no,
this
like
pulling apart
undislike and dislike
between
again.
economic
I want-
growth and what typical workers and their families
Thank you.
receive from
Thank
that
you. Thank you.
economic growth.
So who's getting in on all this extra productivity?
Wow.
This growth that's happening in our economy, if not me.
Whoa.
Let's check in on those CEOs. So remember back in the 70s, CEOs were
And then,
Oh,
oh boy.
the
5 times more than a typical
CEOs,
worker.
the
That seems like a lot. Let's see what happens here. Oh my god, look at this. Oh,
Whoa, what?
Big jump, yes, thank you.
What? Like, we talked about it a little
The
bit earlier,
Reagan
but the thingy, again, like the thing he cites for this, right? So the CEOs make 400 times the average employee or whatever. I mean, you know, scroll down and you see we focus on average compensation of CEOs at the 350 largest publicly owned U.S. firms. So it's like you're only looking at the highest paid CEOs, right? You're looking at the top like 350 CEOs and comparing them to all workers. There are plenty of CEOs who make a lot less than that, which is why I think we, you know, said earlier the median from the BLS actually shows it's like 258,000.
And that's why if you look at
median.
if you look at the median CEO compensation relative to the median worker compensation, it's pretty stable over time. I can show it again. Here, give me a second.
Yeah.
Keep playing. I'll make the graph one in thread. Give me a second.
Right. And then, like, you know, again, CEOs seem to capture less of their marginal product than the typical worker does.
Okay, whoa, by the end of the 90s, CEOs are making almost 400 times the typical worker. And I thought 20 times was a lot.
Those at the top
CEOs, yes,
are receiving
the
much
CEOs,
larger
all the
shares
CEOs, they're
of
only
that growing
300
economy
of
than
them.
those at the middle
Yes.
or at the bottom of the wage distribution. So that pulling apart, that increasing economic inequality is apparent no matter how you look at it. That pie is going increasingly
True.
No matter how you look at it. No matter how you look at it, which is just the 300 CEOs. This is so fucking
She's deep in the
dishonest.
data, bro.
Deep in the data, bro. Oh my god. Kill me. This is so inexcusable. I don't appreciate this at all. Yeah.
Right.
Here, non-fun. Check this graph out. Okay, check this graph out. This is actually the median CEO composition, not only of the like top one CEO or whatever the fuck. Okay, and tell me if this graph is increasing or decreasing. I know it's hard. You need to be deep in the data to tell, but like, tell me if this graph.
I don't know.
increasing
Yeah,
or
I'm not deep in the data. It's hard to.
It's actually decreasing. You see, in the beginning it was 2.53, and now it's 2.52.
Whoa. Decrease. Let's go.
Let's go. Yes.
Right.
Oh my god. So fucking boring. You just swap. It's like garbage. Whatever.
Isn't inequality often seen as a byproduct of rapid economic growth? Could this be a good thing for our economy? Yes, people are getting really rich really fast, but it's because they're innovating and making our economy more productive. And plus, everything I've shown you
Well, finally, at last, we're getting to at least like some explanation here. Whoa.
for taxes, guys.
Okay.
So like the rich pay a lot of taxes. Okay, so let's see what happens to the income of the rich
Oh, dear
people
God.
after taxes. Here we go. Oh, okay. Well,
There's not even a source for this.
What is this? Not even a label, not a source. What
taxes,
the
guys.
I know,
So
what
we pay a
the
lot of
fuck?
taxes. Okay, so let's see what happens to the income of the rich people after taxes. Here we go. Oh,
Show
It's like
the
after
splinter
tax.
graph. Show the
I
splinter
know. Hold
graph.
on.
Yeah, show
15,
it.
17.
Show it. Also, wait, is this
Rich
log
tax
plotted? I don't know.
I don't know. Well, apparently the thing he's citing here
It isn't.
it's the Syaz-Duckman thing, which we talked about earlier.
Of
Here, I'll
course.
show the splinter graph again, obviously, but
Yeah.
listen, just read The Myth of American Inequality. A lot of this is probably because I don't really know what data.
Again, also, yeah, go ahead.
I don't really know what data he's using here again, but a lot of it is probably because they like aren't including benefits for the for people, and obviously the bottom 50% of people receive a lot of government benefits in the U.S., but they are probably including like the unrealized gains of of people.
And again, you should never plot incomes, not why are you plotting incomes, not log? Like, why are you doing this? Like, why? Either show percentage growth or something, but like, why are you not doing a log thing? Otherwise, of course, it's gonna be like looking like a fucking hecking disparity because they're not showing the log. It's so fucking boring. Again, show the splinter graph. Show it again. We need to see. We need to hammer it home. These people cannot keep getting away with lies. It's lying.
Right.
Whatever.
See, on my screen, I'm showing my Zotero thing. Like you can see,
This is
the
log.
bottom
Yeah, this is
quintile.
log plotted.
The bottom quintile here, it has a lot of income that's net transfers, and then the top quintile here, you can see they are obviously net taxpayers, and and we showed the papers earlier also showing like, hey, it looks like the federal tax system has actually gotten more progressive over time, or certainly not really gotten more regressive. even from Syaz and Tuckman's own thing. Yeah. How do I view my highlights in Zotero? Isn't there a button to look at everything I've highlighted?
Oh boy. Either way, keep playing. Fucking liar.
Oh, okay. Well,
Still lying.
the taxes didn't do that much. There's something going on here. The rich are getting really rich really fast. I mean, what these lines all show is that 1980 was kind of this inflection.
Yeah, hold on. This is you guys.
Yes,
I'm
it's
showing
fucking
on
Reagan,
screen.
bro. It's hacking Reagan. Reagan did all of it. Yes.
Yeah,
hacking
but
Wait,
Reagan.
is
from
this
the
data
American
even
inequality-
inconsistent with what we just showed? Because this data could be true, but it's just highlighting that rich people are rich. Right?
Well,
Because
no,
it just
it's
shows...
also
Well-
like, he's saying like, look, the top 0.01%, their income growth is like so much faster, but he's not showing it as a log. So of course, like people who earn much less are gonna get like you're not gonna see their increase in the graph because like they're not getting an increase of 100K in a year or something, whatever the fuck. But it's about the same percentage growth, which is what why you should plot it in log, and then that's what you see when you look at the Auden and Splinter graph. But they don't care. He doesn't care. It's flop. It's all garbage. It's all fucking Reagan, bro. Reagan made these people. We should not have elected Reagan so that we didn't get Reagan derangement syndrome. Because
Dude, it was the
amnesty.
amnesty. It was the amnesty. He caused it.
True.
Point in our economy, where the top earners kind of started to get in on most of the prosperity. And yes, there are economists who argue that inequality isn't bad for an economy. It actually spurs growth and investment into the economy.
Oh
And
my god!
eventually
I
that
thought he was
raises
going to
all
say
boats.
Hold on,
that
we should
inequality is
also
actually
just
not
look at-
increasing.
I know, yeah, real quick, like if we just go to like real-time inequality, and then let's look at like where's the
I don't love this website, but okay.
what you don't love. I thought you liked this one. Hold on. Where's the
I think it's neat, but like they don't include all the data. Like they don't have the Auden and Splinter stuff and whatever.
yeah, what do we want to do? Like share total income, post-tax income, and like it shows. I mean, this is not really increasing that much or anything when you look at post-tax income. And again, the Myth of American Inequality has a lot of charts too that show basically the same thing.
Yeah. No, but okay.
Yeah.
So playback. He's not talking about the people who dispute that inequality has increased. He's saying some people say inequality is good. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Our economy, where the top earners kind of started to get in on most of the prosperity. And yes, there are economists who argue that inequality isn't
my
bad
God.
for an economy.
Equality unequal.
It actually
based.
spurs growth and investment into the economy,
Whoa.
and eventually that raises all boats. It trickles down. And advocates for this way of thinking say that we should
Yes!
Trickle down.
Yes!
Trickle down.
Yes, let's
Trickle,
go.
Trickle down. Oh,
Yes.
trickle down. Yes, it's a trickle down.
Oh
word.
my God.
It's a trickle. It's a trickle.
What's up, Russell?
shouldn't focus on inequality, but instead on poverty reduction. Okay, poverty reduction. How
And I don't know what data he's using here, by the
are
way.
we doing? Poverty plummeted after World War II, but you can see that at this time, like 1980, when inequality starts to get really bad, poverty basically stays the same, goes up for a big series of years. So this is concerning, and this is
Okay,
my
this is
interpretation
the
of
this is
data.
the
I'm
only
sure
thing he
some of
gets wrong. This is the only thing he's gotten wrong.
This is
Oh,
relevant.
shot.
It's a study
Yeah,
that you have
no way you think
of
that.
the Great Society. There's like a great assessing the Great Society paper.
Yeah, by Fox.
and it argues that
by Fox,
once you poverty, this is
Yeah.
a study that Praxman could not cope with for the life of him. But he was,
Yeah, I know. I should cite it at him. But yeah, no. So to be clear, this is very likely using something similar, if not exactly, the official poverty measure, which does not take into account it only to market income. It doesn't take into account after-tax income and after transfers. So this is already ignoring a big thing, right? America became more redistributive, so you should look at after redistribution. If you're going to talk about what people feel at the end of the day, you should talk about what the government has given to them. And that's already dishonest. And the second thing is, again, we can look at the wage increases of the median person, or like the bottom 20% or whatever. We can look it increased. So like what exactly is the claim? Like we know median incomes and like bottom incomes or whatever are rising since 1955. Like, are you serious? Like, oh my god, I don't know.
Yeah, I know, and it's annoying. He doesn't even cite. The source is just U.S. Census Bureau, but like the U.S. Census Bureau, I think has different measures of poverty. Like I think they track both official and supplemental poverty. And supplemental poverty
the supplemental
does show
one is kind of. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
It does show a decline, right?
Yeah, but I think
he
the
is
supplemental
using-
one uses a different threshold over time. So I think the official poverty measure
might.
looks at like a minimal diet or something in the 60s or whatever. And they kept the same standard, which is okay. But like, I think the supplemental one changes the standard over time, so it's kind of relative in that way. Whatever. Either way, we can look just at like the wages of the bottom 20% of wage earners, and like we can look at the median wage and whatever, and adjust it for inflation, and we see no, it increases. So like, what are you talking about? It trickles down, bro.
Like it's on my stream, but it's not on. It's not on.
Is the word poverty in the
your
document?
guys' stream? No,
Damn, but you're
I
quoting
looked.
Martin Feldstein?
So there's this where he says devil's advocate or whatever, and this is like, focus on reducing poverty, not inequality. But this isn't where he's getting the data from. This is like what he's citing is he's like, oh, some people say this, and this is an example of someone saying this. But
and then does he cite the poverty stuff?
No, this thing is just this is just unsourced. It's like it just says U.S. Census Bureau. So I don't know what data he's using.
Kind of famous for his Social Security publications. I think he made a mistake in one, but
interesting. But speaking of Social Security, we can talk about wealth inequality very soon. But so look up in his document. Look up the word poverty. Does it not show up, or?
It's only here. There's 3 of them, and one of them is here, and then 2 of them are in the link to this thing.
Oh my god, bro!
That's so real, Russell. I hate unsourced things too.
I might say something stupid here, so watch out, guys. But couldn't you argue that the optimal level of inequality is actually like way higher than it is today, considering that innovators don't get like all of their product, so there might be positive externalities in regards to innovation.
Yeah, I don't even care too much about inequality. The evidence that inequality causes all these bad things is it's pretty bad. It's all over the place. And no, it is.
I need some more time. Hold on.
Okay, we don't have time to go into that right now.
It's not true. It's not true. But the inequality crime thing is literally it's almost proven fact at this point, bro. Like,
it's almost proven fact. What do you?
Okay. We don't have enough time. We don't have time to go into that right now.
No. I know. I'm saying on this thing he's showing in the graph, nothing related to what Sam has said, because again we gotta get through the video. This graph debunks Johnny Harris. This is actually published, and they mentioned Johnny Harris in this study. Just pull it up real quick. They mention
revisiting the income inequality crime puzzle. Well, I was gonna say Johnny Harris, he hasn't even said that inequality.
I already know all of the studies that he's gonna cite before he cites.
Wait, read the highlights. Just very quickly. He said it's proven fact. I just want to see if they say that.
An examination of inequality crime is conducted through an analysis incorporating
harsh Sam. Yeah, keep.
Like 1,300 estimates derived from 43 studies. Income inequality has a small, if non-existent, effect on crime. Ooh, destroyed. Some limited evidence of positive publication bias is found. Inequality metrics, which are sensitive to changes in both the middle and upper segments of the income distribution, exhibit higher coefficients, and the omission of relevant variables such as deterrence in income introduces a notable bias.
Yep. Oh, thank you. Proven fact, Sam. Proven fact, by the way.
True.
Okay, keep playing the video.
Johnny Harris doesn't even
real
quick.
Keep playing the video.
Oh, dear God.
People that claim
Hold on, we gotta get through this video. We'll just say, okay, Johnny Harris has not even gone over why he thinks inequality is bad in this video. He is basically just accepted as that equality is just intrinsically good when that's obviously a dispute. You can he's made no positive argument for. I know he's knee deep in the data.
Have very different interpretations, and I would love to see down in the comments. Anyway, let's check in on the American dream. America's all about big risk, big reward. So yeah, inequality is happening, but if you can go from rags to riches, maybe that's very American and okay. If I was born in the 1970s, I'm now an adult in the 1990s, and the data says that 59% of us born to the middle income will out-earn our parents. So that means that 40% of my peers here in the middle income will earn the same or less than their parents, even as we are seeing all of this economic growth. I mean, you can see this trend here.
Do you have data on upward mobility, Swag?
Oh no, not now.
God damn it! I need to read this chapter of the American Dream is Not Dead, but I'm not.
I think Kaplan has a book on it, essays on labor economics. One thing that I do remember is that, for example, if you're an immigrant that comes here and your parents haven't even graduated high school, you have a higher chance of getting higher education attainment compared to native borns. And the reason why I think that's true is probably because people that are born in another country are poor because of different reasons, which I thought is kind of interesting, but that's another topic.
Right.
The American dream of being able to move up the ladder is becoming less and less a reality for a bigger and bigger portion of the population. Okay, so that was a big change from all the trends. Let's see what happens next.
People assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect, but actually it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Okay, we're moving into the new millennium. America's fighting a couple of wars. The economy's actually doing pretty well until the bankers got a little loosey-goosey for a couple of years, making obscene amounts.
Check this
What?
out. Check this out. Just check it out.
Has intergenerational progress stalled income growth over 5 generations of America? I feel like I've seen this before.
Okay.
We find that each of the past 4 generations of Americans was better off than the previous one using post-tax, post-transfer income measures constructed annually from 1963 to 2022 based on the current population survey, annual social and economic supplement. That's another thing, by the way, which this graph, the graph he was showing for the, likelihood to earn more than your parents is like unsourced too. So I don't know if it's looking at only private market income or not. Because obviously, if like for the bottom 20% of Americans, a lot of their income is increasingly transfer payments. So I don't know if he's just not counting that or
amounts of money and crashing the entire world economy. But okay,
we're gonna have to go, guys.
Biggest recession of our time. We're arriving.
Bye bye. Have fun.
See ya.
To the 2010s. This
Yeah,
is a world that
someone call
most of us are familiar with. Let's see how the median income earner fares. I don't work in a factory anymore. All of those jobs have dried up and been shipped to Asia. So I now work as a middle manager at an insurance company.
Let's go. What's the hold on? Is that all he says on it? Or no,
and my household income is $81,000 a year, which is, wait a minute, same as 1997. But wait, during this same 13-year
oh my god
period from 1997 to 2010, the economy grew by this much. I mean, that line's going up. The economy's
okay. Hold on, real quick. I don't even think he.
Show
I don't know if he ever.
Show him my PC graph. Show him my PC.
I know, but I don't know if he goes into this at all. But like saying like, oh, all the manufacturing jobs have been shipped to Asia or whatever. It's like that's doesn't really seem to be the case. I mean, he cites this showing
this obsession with manufacturing. Why do we have this garbage obsession with manufacturing? Holy shit.
If one, I don't know why he's obsessing over manufacturing when like service jobs pay basically the same amount, if not more, and also like tend to have like better working conditions. But also there's just like there's not a ton of good evidence that like all these jobs were offshore to Asia or whatever. A lot of it was just we got more productive, and like you just don't need as many people to do these manufacturing jobs anymore. A lot of it is automation. That's why I like this from I think it's from Free Trade Under Fire. When a trend line fitted to manufacturing employment data from 1960 to 1980s projected out 30 years, it precisely predicts the share of manufacturing employment in 2010. Without knowing about China's rise, the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, or the formation of World Trade Organization, a forecaster in 1980 would have been able to accurately predict the number of workers employed in manufacturing in 2010 without almost any error. That is seemingly some amount of evidence that where or automation was responsible, and like we have studies on this. Even the original like China shock paper, even that only found that like 40% of the decline in manufacturing employment was due to trade, and the rest of it was due to things like automation. But I mean, we see the same trend of like declining manufacturing employment in even economies that have trade surpluses, like Korea and Germany, which both have like big manufacturing sectors, because a lot
and again,
of it's
show them the graph in the DMs. Like, it's not once you adjust with PC, which is a metric you should use for inflation. You see, actually, no, median income for families have not stayed similar to 97?
Yeah.
Stop lying, Johnny Harris. Stop this lie.
Cato has a good article where they explain, like I said, like, oh, CPI sometimes isn't great, and also household size has declined, and also all these other things, non-wage compensation, and they have their estimate of, income growth.
Making more stuff, there's more prosperity. Even when you adjust for inflation per capita, the economy.
And also technology is better, but yeah.
There should be more to go around. But my household pay is the same as it was.
Wait, can you go back
like
5 seconds? Can you go back like something?
True. There should be more.
What?
Okay, yeah, no, I just wanted to hear what he said, even when
more
you
to go around. But my household pay is the same as it was 13 years previous.
Can you go back on more?
Why? Well, we'll see.
Oh my God.
But wait, during this same 13-year period from 1997 to 2010, the economy grew by this much. I mean, that line's going up. The economy's making more stuff. There's more prosperity. Even when you adjust for inflation per capita, the economy grew. There should be more to go around.
Did he say
my household pay?
Even when you adjust for inflation, quote unquote, per capita, as if per capita means adjusting for inflation? He didn't just say that.
No, I think this is just showing real GDP per capita. I think he's just saying when you adjust for inflation and look at it per capita.
But he said he did quotes with his hands, like as if that's the name for it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, play it. Play it.
It's just the same. I don't know if it's the same study. Bob Marley sent us. We present new evidence of trends in intergenerational mobility in the U.S. using administrative earning records. We find percentile rank-based measures of intergenerational mobility have remained extremely stable for the 1971 to 1993 birth cohorts. Johnny Harris is knee deep in the data, though. Ray Chetty, Nicholas Hendren, Patrick Klein, Emmanuel Saez.
Okay, different authors. Turner. Yeah, different authors. Different authors.
Yeah.
Okay, but he knows this data. He just thinks it's wrong.
There should be more to go around. But my household pay is the same as it was.
Go back for a second. He said he does quotes with his hands, like per capita.
Inflation per capita. There should be more to go around. But my household pay is, even when you adjust for inflation per capita, the economy grew. There should be more to go around. But my household pay is the same as it was 13 years previous. Why? Well, we'll see in a second. But first, let's talk about my house. I always love talking about my house.
Oh, dear God.
Because as well, if he said we adjust for inflation per capita, you'd be like, what does adjusted for inflation per capita mean? Like,
what? No, that would make sense. Look, I know what the graph shows. I'm not confused about what the graph shows.
Adjusted for inflation.
It just seems very confused. Look. You cannot say in the beginning of the video, we looked at the data, guys. We're deep in the data, guys. We're deep in the data, and all of it is source. And then say, even when you adjust for so in the beginning of the video, he says, by the way, everything right now is going to be in current prices or whatever. So we adjust for different prices. Yeah. But now he's saying, even when you adjust for inflation, so you said it in the beginning of the video. Why are you saying it's like as if it's like a new effort, even if this is the bare minimum? And then don't say, even when you adjust for inflation, and then do quotes per capita. That's all I care about. But whatever, it's minor. Keep playing.
Here in post-recession America, housing prices are actually pretty low. The bubble burst. Interest rates had to go down to stimulate the economy. And so home purchasing was actually pretty accessible for a few years. Don't worry, housing prices will be back on the rise in a second. And in fact, they'll start rising faster than my income, making housing less and less affordable. And homeownership still seems to be available mostly for certain groups.
Low affordable.
And not as much for others. In fact, that hasn't changed much since the segregation days. Meanwhile, I think I know what's going to happen to this graph. Yep. The rich are just getting richer faster than my income is going up. And my income's kind of
Oh, wait, we can finally read the actual graph. Top earners equal 95th income percentile income level, and low is the 20th percentile.
Stagnating. Okay, what about the CEOs? Did they pay a price for the big bubble?
Yes, CEO pay again. Yes, let's go. This is the reason home prices are so high.
Nope, they didn't pay, they kind of did up and down, but they're still, by the end of the decade, getting paid hundreds of times more than me. Maybe they think they are hundreds of times more productive and deserve it.
Oh, productivity!
I mean, you get the point on the inequality stuff. This is what we've been hearing about for a long time. All of these graphs have the same shape. This great divergence that happens in ways where the economy is growing, but the wages for the average person just kind of flatten while the top
income after tax. Source Saya Zuckman. Let's go. Again, this is not including, I'm assuming this is not including benefits. And when you look at what happens when you include benefits, you don't see the same thing.
Well, usually when they say after tax, it's also after benefits. But no, I mean, you should look at the Splinter data. It does the better adjustments, better assumptions, better data. No,
I don't think, I could be wrong. I don't know what paper they're citing, but I believe there are Saez and Zuckman papers that look at post-tax income but don't include benefits. But
and again, you should not look at it if you look at the units, right? Let's look at the units of the graph. They're absolute units, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should not plot it in absolute units. You should do log, right? Because again, imagine someone goes from earning 1,000 to 100,000. That's a lot better of an improvement than someone who went from 1 million to 2 million a year, right? Even though the other person is earning $1 million more, so if you plotted it, it would look like he's dwarfing him. No, actually, in terms of improvement relative to where they were before, obviously. A larger increase. Yeah, so you should plot it in log, and he doesn't because he doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck. He's deep in the data, but not at all. He's dumb. Well, I don't know if he's dumb. He's just not putting any effort in. He's just not putting any effort. I don't think he's dumb. He seems smart, but whatever. Just do better. Whatever. Very frustrating.
Top earners just sort of get in on all of that prosperity. Okay, but the American dream.
Wow.
And climb the ladder, right? So if you're born in the 1980s, which I was, you're now an adult in the
Yeah, we just looked at like
Literally
2 papers
every
that
claim
show the
is
opposite
wrong.
of this.
2010s, and
Did he say anything
it looks
correct
like
here?
the median earner, the majority of us,
I don't know. I don't think
will
so.
earn the same or less than our parents. Yeah, this is a problem, and probably doesn't seem fair to a lot of people. But wait, there's hope.
Star Trek, Terminator, Time Cop, Time After Time, Marmalade, Wrinkle in Time, Somewhere in Time, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Okay, I'm back. 2025. That's when I'm making this video. So that's modern day for me. We went through a pandemic.
Wow.
The economy kind of got freaked out for a little bit. And the median income earner actually started to see some gains after years and years of flatlining.
Whoa,
So you do
thank
see
you,
some
Biden.
potential
That's
movement
true.
here, some hope. But let's get back to the original question that we
Some
started the video
hope,
with.
yes.
This is the
One
only part
data
that's true.
point. Yes.
American
Yes.
better off now than they were back in the 50s and over these decades that we talked about? In a lot of ways,
Let's see.
the answer is yes, especially if you are a woman or
In
not
a lot
white,
of
then
ways.
the answer is yes, at least in terms of economic opportunity.
Oh, the
But what
image
we've
of the
seen on this
Substack.
journey is that the American economy has produced an incredible amount of prosperity and growth over these last 7 decades. And that was shared broadly by
There's no mention. I'm surprised he didn't mention technology either. Like Cato has like a good. I forget where they have it, but Cato has a good like graph showing like, oh, let's just look at like the percent of people who have indoor plumbing and like own a refrigerator, and it's like,
Yep.
you know, those are clearly
Or have a car.
clearly, yeah, you know, good
Goodman
measures of
talked about
well-being.
this,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, percent of people own a telephone and things like that, and it's like, you know, we should probably care about.
No, but
quality of life.
non-fun. Bezos earns more.
But Bezos, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jay Powell. That is true. Yes. Thank you, Jerome Powell, for the tight labor market post-COVID. Yes.
all of us for a time. But in the last 30, 40 years, the data is very clear that the fruits of the economic growth these days
It's very clear. The data is very clear. Everyone agrees.
Very
no one has
clear,
any.
very clear.
No one has any issues
Deep
with
in the
any
data,
of the
bro.
assumptions. No one like.
Nope.
have not been broadly
Nothing.
shared.
Nope.
One
He
group
read all the
is
papers and he
collecting
came
most of
naturally to the
growth.
conclusion
And I didn't even
that
talk
they're
about
wrong.
wealth, like the stuff you just own and how that makes
No, yes.
Oh,
Wealth inequality. The hacking
yes.
wealth inequality. Should I send the paper?
We're talking just about
Should I
income
fire
limits.
with the paper?
What,
Again,
this
just
paper?
to be clear, once. Wait, is this the one? No. This is Autumn Splinter. No, I'm talking about wealth inequality. He said, I'm not even talking about wealth. Well, once you look
Oh,
at
hold on.
wealth and
Wait.
you actually do the adjustments for Social Security, which is an
let's
annuity,
go.
basically.
This paper.
Yeah. There was another paper
Yeah.
as well. It's finding kind of that it's still increased, but instead of 7% to 3% or something, and they explain actually the theoretical importance of adjusting for Social Security. But yeah, Social Security functions as an annuity. I know that's not how it's funded, but for the individual, it's like just like an annuity, just like any pension. And so then you should count it as like if we talk about what people feel in wealth, then you should count it. And then once you do that, you find actually inequality is not very much increased. Yeah, and you can look. And at the bottom, they they note, and I think I kind of agree with this. They say there are other benefits that we're not even adjusting for. So this is it should be taken as like an upper bound, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right. As you can see, this is adjusting for Social Security, wealth inequality in the U.S., and it doesn't seem like it's increased that much compared to the no Social Security alternative. And also, I mean, there's one paper. I wish I had it on hand. I don't think I do. That's just like I think it's from Denmark, and it shows like, a big reason that Denmark had a reduction in wealth inequality was because their pension system switched from basically what pay-go system like what we have with Social Security right now to like an individualized plan, and we start simply because they started including retirement benefits in wealth inequality. Like wealth inequality appeared to go down in Denmark, and it's like I think that's a good example of how like if you
it makes no sense. It's the same. People feel it the same way, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now this isn't the first time that we've been in this situation. The top 10%
Dude, let's
collected
go.
almost half of all the income way back in the early 1900s before World War II. But we changed that. Look.
Because unions, show unions now.
Supposed to be distributed more equally. But this graph tells the same story. Look, 1980, boom, here it goes. We're back.
Oh,
we're back to where we were.
No, Reagan.
Now, does this mean that our economy is broken? No, actually.
Show the splinter graph.
It is working exactly how it was designed.
Wait, he's doing it's designed for the rich thing? Yeah, you should hammer the points home. It's not enough to say
it's the result of
Reagan. Fucking Reagan, bro.
Results of Reaganomics, bro. Don't you know? Yeah.
What is this? Income share? Okay, yeah, whatever.
What? It's not a
changes to the rules, policies that end up determining who gets the money and who doesn't. These policies are made by people that we elect. And if
name one, please.
We don't think that this is fair, we have the power
Reagan.
to pressure them to design a system that is fair. Now, the medium income earner doesn't have nearly as much power these days. The top income earners and the corporations have really gotten their foot in the door for the people who have the power to set the rules.
Whoa.
So it's harder than ever.
You know, actually, it's interesting. That point is not entirely untrue. There was a study in 2014 or something that actually... Yeah.
Yeah, a study out of Princeton in 2014.
That's right.
We still have the power to pressure our politicians to change it. And it's not actually just about income inequality. Yes, that has risen. The rich get richer much faster. It's also about the American dream, this idea of being able to move up. If you get educated, if you work hard, as inequality has gone up, the American dream has gone down. These graphs are built on robust data, and this is the story that it tells.
So are we causally inferring there? Are we doing a like?
I'm causally inferring, bro. Causal inference.
Of the economic ladder have gotten wider and wider apart. And that American dream, ironically a term coined by a rich investment banker born into a rich family in New York City, that dream is looking more and more like a myth.
Not fun. Always fucking remember. If I earn $1 million and you earn $1, and then in the next year you earn 100K and I earn 2 million, the gap has widened. Right?
True.
We're more unequal, and yeah, bro. What a catastrophe. Very sad.
Yeah. Basically, I have to be on a panel pretty soon, but obviously closing thoughts. Obviously, basically everything he said was wrong or misleading.
True.
He was not knee deep into data. There's no explanation of of the assumptions that he made, using CPI and probably not including benefits in these things. Some of the things are not really properly sourced. Like I should at least know, he did have, come on, Google. It is nice to have, that he has a sources document. Like he does link quite a few things, but I should at least know what measure of poverty he's using, right? Because there is a big difference between the official poverty measure or some type of relative poverty measure and supplemental poverty measure and consumption poverty measures, because supplemental and consumption poverty measures both show that stuff going down. And and there's no analysis of wage inequality is increasing. Was well, why? It's it makes sense that as technology there's a race between education and technology, okay? As technology gets better, there's higher demand for educated, skilled workers and less demand for unskilled workers, and that can cause wage inequality. Yeah. And it's that's not always necessarily a bad thing. He did kind of mention that with one thing, but then he just was but poverty hasn't gone down, actually. But not all the rise in inequality is driven by the top 350 CEOs or whatever. A lot of the increase in inequality is just between people who have college degrees and go work for investment banks but aren't CEOs or anything, and people who don't get college degrees and go work for some manufacturing company or whatever. And there's also no analysis of
the world's ending.
Yeah, I know. There was never any analysis of why has manufacturing gone down? Is it trade? Is it automation? Why have home prices increased? Is it because of zoning laws and government regulation, or is it because of evil billionaires or corporations or anything? But yeah.
It's very annoying because it's not even the causal inference here is the worst part, because it's just
right.
Oh, picking Reagan. Look, it's the same time as picking Reagan, bro. That means it's because of Reagan. We don't compare to other countries. We don't do anything that. No, it's just fucking Reagan, bro. It's Reagan. And look, these two graphs, they move in the same direction. Therefore, it's causal. It's so boring.
Exactly. I might make a more video essay style response to that video at some point. I definitely need to read more into the upward mobility claims, but yeah, I gotta go be on a panel. So
you should. Okay, every time. Okay, so just do something like this. every time if you do a response video, which would be fun, that'd be great. If you do a response video, then like every time he mentions like something that because he shows the same graphs over and over again, right?
Right. Yeah.
So just show the same graphs that debunk them. If there are many, show them again. And just do like a Vine boom sound effect, so like boom, boom, and then at the end it's like 5 minutes, like boom, 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 boom. So it's just like so boring because it is. No, I mean, whatever,
right.
Just meme on him, whatever. No, Sam, no. Okay, go to your panel, but.
Yeah, well, I gotta be in a panel. So I'll see you. I'm gonna end the short stream now because I don't have a setup for the panel or whatever.
Fun times.
I'll see you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay. Start virtual camera. I need a pee too. This is bad timing because I'm gonna join the panel and pee at the same time. Does pee your pants your old friends here? Maybe I should.
It's just like so boring because it is.
Okay, I need to pee though. Did they even start yet? I might not actually be late because everyone else is late too, which would be goated. But
And we'll wait for iCal. He says he's going to be here soon.
Oh, good. Who else is going to be here? Anybody else? Or just...
Maybe one more. Let's join a VC. We'll start.
Alright, I'm not late.
Navon, how you doing today? How was your vacation or trip or whatever?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I had fun. It was mostly enjoyable. I don't like being outside though. That's lame.
Yeah, you don't like being outside? I would have never guessed. Could have never told you that one. Any cool, exciting stories you want to share with the class before we get into the excitement stuff?
Yeah, I told a lot of people about the Shrimp Welfare Project, which is the most effective charity, and all you guys should go donate to the Shrimp Welfare Project.
This dude is out here reading college-level econ books like he looks smart and fucking hanging out in the shade like a loser. I saw you on the beach with a shirt on. You didn't go in the water.
I got a little wet.
I wasn't talking about the lube that was put on you.
Well, I've been wanting to bring this up to you.
And you didn't invite me? Darn.
Since you got the right idea, I wanted to bring this up to you, Tyler. Me and my friend Mel were sitting here, and you posted something. And she was at my house, and she saw you post in the Discord, and I'm like, this motherfucker is in I don't know, Thailand, Bangkok, or some other bullshit, and he's on here at fucking whatever time zone they're in, debate broing us as he says he gets ready for the beach, or he said I'm in between shit to do tonight. I'm like killing her. She was like, let me tell you something. I know I don't like particularly like debate, but if I was over there in any of these places, the last thing I'm doing is getting in politics debates while I'm fucking out getting ready to go out. I was like, me getting ready to go out, I think is a lot different than what his
You
getting ready
say
to go out
that,
is.
but go out to a country where nobody speaks your language, you're gonna be like, damn, I wish I had someone to fucking talk to. So like, I would jump on. I wouldn't get in panels or anything like that. I was just sitting in people's chat for like a half an hour until my internet cut out. At certain points, I was waiting for like food to be done, and I don't understand the words coming out of the TV box or the radio box or anything. So like, the only communication I have with English speakers was Discord. So that's kind of why. And it was the Philippines also. I was in Cagayan.
Yeah. They speak English and Spanish over there, bro, too, bro. You know that, right? A lot of it. You could have found some.
They don't speak much of either. It's Bisaya, Tagalog, and a few other languages. They have 114
I'll be back in 1
languages
second.
there. English is probably the most popular foreign language, but not even close to the most popular language. People don't speak it. Just look at you confused.
One of my cousins lives in Manila.
Manila's the biggest city. Yeah, it's like cleaner Atlanta. It's nice as fuck.
Well, that's not a very high bar if you've been to Atlanta. Like
Atlanta's got a nice bar.
The strip clubs are nice. Otherwise, honestly, this is a sad thing. This is a sad statement. The nicest, cleanest thing in Atlanta are the strip clubs. That is a true statement. I don't know why that is, but Hot Atlanta is a real thing. Mm-hmm. Who saw the content Nuke round 2 today? I thought that was pretty funny.
I watched the stream after too.
I haven't watched it yet. I probably will after this.
Oh man, I gotta say, I've never been a huge Ethan Klein fan. Never had any desire to watch his content. After watching that 20 minutes today, I might just start watching his content on principle that was such a good fucking troll. That shit is fucking hilarious. I've been cracking up all day about it.
It's good, but it's not consistently that good. Like if you watch the 3-hour stream where he kind of recapped it and talked about all that shit, you're gonna see it's just not nearly as entertaining as a really well put together video that took him like 3 months to make that 20-minute video.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm just happy he's going after the fucking terrorist supporter.
Yeah,
Israel!
No, we got that. This is actually perfect. Cal, welcome in. I was just texting Kel today. I was telling her.
He's talking about you.
I was saying, Ethan, basically, I'd had this beef with Resi this week, apparently, and then I kind of already had some issue with some other drama streamers, and I was, and then Kel here, she's new from the drama world. I was like, Ethan Klein just set off the nuke on the restart of the war between the politics people and the drama people. I was like, that's gonna be highly entertaining.
Now? Bro, where have you been?
Earlier today, he restarted it. It's back.
Bro, I've heard nothing but Ethan Hassan.
Well, no, this is now. It's now it's spreading. People see they're stealing our fucking shows by watching our shit and reacting. We need to go after all of them. Like people are taking this as the rallying cry, all over my fucking shit. Are you streaming as well, Non-Fawn? Let me get you.
I am. Yeah.
All right, and I will send Kel an invite as well, and then we'll get started. Cal, how you doing today? You done?
Doing great. Just got back. Yeah, this was my last day of debate camp.
Yeah.
So I've got a new one next week, but the last day of this was the big one.
Yeah. Did you learn them real good, lot? They learned some new tactics.
Yeah, they wrote. I think I co-wrote 15 oratories.
15, huh?
15 10-minute oratories, which take weeks to do each one. So yeah, it was exhausting.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Lots of hooks and metaphors and themes and okay, it's done.
We don't call them hooks anymore. They're sex workers.
Yeah. No, you're right. They don't call them hooks anymore. They call them AGDs, attention getting devices. But I still call them hooks. Damn it.
Wait, why did they change it?
I don't know. But they're called attention getting devices now, so AGDs. But I still call them hooks. I still call the transition a bridge. I'm old fashioned that way.
Well, so looks like my righties have bailed on me tonight. That's
yeah,
okay.
Seriously, where are they? I'm sad.
I know. It's fine. I might have to be a little less moderator today than I anticipated, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be a circle jerk.
Nah, don't worry. I'll fight everybody if I have to. Let's start us off here, and I already texted a couple backup righties, and
No, call him. It's funnier.
listen, drama brain, calm down.
Call him live. Call him live. Call Pentuple. If you're listening, you're a straight up bitch.
Yeah, where the fuck is he?
From the debate in real time, bro.
I was going to break you in half, boy.
Yeah, that's right. Tell him we're gonna take you out behind a woodshed, Pentuple. He'll learn you about that Georgia hospitality. All right, yeah, but we'll start us off. It looks like Cash Patel came out to Congress with a bunch of paperwork saying that China was trying to do election interference. All right, I know we don't have enough evidence yet to say January 6th was justified, but is there a case potentially where January 6th could be justified? Because I got to tell you, as a conservative, all I ever hear about in any panel, anytime political violence comes up, is January 6th. So, would this turn things on the head? Is there a level of evidence that Democrats or lefties would accept that would make it, a reasonable response? Or is there no chance that ever happening? We'll start with Tyler.
I read the article. I think Grassley has a bit more integrity than Cash Patel in terms of partisanship. I go with if Grassley sees a reason to have an investigation because there was some sort of obstruction in the process or there wasn't a full out investigation, then okay, maybe I'll look into it, but doubtful. And I highly the evidence offered was an out of context number of 20,000. How many fake IDs are in the United States that cause arrests every year? I need more context, more information to show that this was an abnormal amount and things of that nature. And even if I need to see it was actually effective in elections, and none of that was in the article. It just sounds like another gish gallop from the insurrectionists and the treasonous people who wanted to usurp an election from the rightful winner, where you should be happy he won because that inflation was going to make Trump look bad. It made Biden look worse. So at the end of the day, I think it's stupid. And as far as who's going to believe it, the amount of evidence it would take to convince, your normal left of center person that supports Israel and basically uses common sense and facts to come to their conclusion, just enough to prove it. But anyone else on the left, if you think that, Palestine's in the right or something like that, there's no amount of facts that are ever going to change your mind. You're already showing that you don't care about them. So it is what it is.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. No, Testy, I haven't got my signed book from the QAnon shaman yet, despite being a chapter president of his fan club. It's bullshit. All right. Go ahead to iCal.
Well, I'm going to answer your second question because I think it's one that I've asked and answered a long time ago, multiple times, and that is, if the election was actually stolen, and I agree with Tyler that this is nothing, like this can't be true. There's no evidence for it. But if it were true that the election were stolen, this is one of the reasons why it's weird to me that people who believe this say that it's not an insurrection. Because if it were true, insurrection would be justified and insurrection would be called for. In fact, the country was founded on an insurrection against the UK. There's nothing wrong with an insurrection if the government is itself illegitimate. So yes, of course, if it were true, and if Democrats and Americans and the government were colluding with China to create a bunch of fake votes based on false IDs, then yeah, that would be cause for an insurrection. But it didn't happen.
Okay, thank you so much. Katya.
Okay, I actually have a statement because I thought they were going to be more right-wingers here. Unfortunately, they're not. But you know what? I wrote this, so I'm going to go ahead and read it again. So yeah, after 4 years of asking questions about the outcome of the 2020 election, Republicans are seemingly desperate for answers, at least the ones that they would like to hear. The allegation from Kash Patel's FBI is no more than an allegation. Not even an allegation of outcome determinant fraud or of election fraud in general. We're talking about an allegation that Chinese operatives tried to smuggle in fraudulent driver's licenses and were stopped and had the licenses confiscated. That from an FBI headed by a dude that literally authored a children's book about the 2020 fake election narrative called The Plot Against the King. Let's be serious here. And this is, of course, supposed to justify an attempt to subvert our electoral process, using a plan about which the creator, John Eastman, believed that he would lose 9-0 in the Supreme Court. And also based on a narrative espoused by Fox News, whose personnel said behind the scenes that it was not the truth. They were grasping at straws then, and they clearly are still trying. Let's be real, sometimes you lose. Republicans have been saying it to me since November, so, you know, I don't think they got the memo back in 2020, but they should really listen to what they're saying. You're probably going to hear at least from Gibbs, but what if it's confirmed, but what if it did happen, but what if it's all real? At least once, probably multiple times. But as far as I'm concerned, unless clairvoyance or a time machine is involved, it has no bearing.
That's good. I'm glad you covered two things that might happen, which is clairvoyance and time machine. As we know, I am the prophet, the political prophet specifically, so we might have those predictions. I don't know. Non-fun.
You know, I guess the one thing I'll add is there is a procedure for rejecting electoral votes in the Electoral Count Act. If you genuinely thought the election was stolen, why couldn't you, you know, get people in the House of Representatives and senators to object to the electoral votes in accordance with the Electoral Count Act? Why are we trying to justify using Pence to do this insane illegal plan that is obviously absurd? I don't think retroactive evidence that the 2020 election was stolen can justify trying to break the Electoral Count Act. At best, you can maybe claim they should have objected to the vote in accordance with the Electoral Count Act.
All right, thank you so much, Non-Fun. All right, Kel, now that we got hopefully your audio fixed there, and now that you don't look like you're hiding from the Nazis in a video here, so with the black and white. How are you today? What do you got going on? What are your thoughts?
Is this not the guy that's always in black and white? Am I mistaken? It was supposed to be.
Yeah,
in comedy, we call that a callback.
Yeah, you are mistaken.
Oh, sorry, just another old guy with a beard. My bad. There's one guy that always has like a.
Well, first of all, I know it wasn't iCal because iCal is like you and has as many tech struggles as possible. So there's no way he's over here in black and white. But you go ahead, Cal. What do you think?
I know you guys come from my riveting political takes, okay? The expert analysis. All I was gonna say is that I don't know if you guys starting my sophomore year, dude. Like, have you guys not bought like fake IDs online? There's like a million websites that'll do it for like freaking $60. I've had at least 4 probably through my time, like losing that. And I'm not saying they're good. They're not all good. There was one that got freaking taken when I was out with my coworkers one time. Anyways, long story short, what we should be concerned with is like, oh, the DMV printed a bunch of fucking unless it's because what does like fake licenses mean? Exactly what you were saying earlier. So, yeah, that could be. I mean, who hasn't I've heard people. I mean, not. I don't want to say that, but I'm like my friend is like of a different ethnicity, and like people have talked about like using their sister's licenses and stuff. Like shit. Like if we're talking about fraud like that, I don't know.
All right, thank you so much. We'll get into it. Yeah, so I will say on the fake ID thing, you can also buy a dead person's ID and social security card for about $75 in the black market. I know that because some people I work with in my lifetime have been about illegal aliens, and I'm very sympathetic to their plight, but they got to go, right? That's kind of been my argument for a long time. But a lot of it, this just really goes to show how big of a problem the fake IDs thing is, I think. So I guess let's just move along here. Is there a standard of evidence y'all would accept from like a Trump administration that would prove definitively that there was a steal? Do y'all have any thoughts on this? Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if they can prove that this is like an abnormal amount of fake IDs, they were from China, and that any of them, let's say enough to swing any state, I mean, not even swing it, just have a comparable large amount of votes that were registered and used these fake IDs would be enough for me to say it was probably a problem and the FBI didn't investigate it enough. But I trust Grassley, who was the guy that led the vote against Trump's emergency tariffs against Canada to shut them down on Trump. He's shown over the years he has at least some moral fibers to him, maybe not like the most principled person in the world, but if he sees something there worth looking into, I'll look into it. He seems more trustworthy than Kash Patel. But I need to see some meat. And that would be the meat, is like a couple thousand voters in one state using these Chinese idiots.
Just real quick, none of us clarified before like diving into it. You mentioned that you had read the article. I'm pretty sure like everyone is. It's been all over everyone's feed. But does someone want to just like clarify like what happened that we're like kind of talking about this again? That kind of reignited the conversation.
Yeah, sure. Sure. I mean, what happened is Kash Patel showed up to Congress with an alleged plot by the CCP to like come in and influence the United States election in 2020 in favor of Biden, and they allegedly had they were going to make fake driver's licenses and maybe some other stuff, depending on which news article I've read, trying to get these people in here, like, or to have like fake voters like for Biden. I'm not really clear on which one that is, or both. The one thing that has bothered me quite a bit about this is people like, oh well, they haven't found anything. And it looks like the extent which the FBI took any steps, if any at all, is not really clear. It might have been like, this is kind of a concern if the government knew about it and did nothing. That kind of speaks to a lot of what the Trumpers were saying.
Haven't you heard those recordings of Trump literally like that where he's like, oh yeah, just we're all gonna act like we won, and even if it doesn't win in this like swing state, like bro, there's been so much shit that came out on the opposite end too. Like we could do this all day. Like welcome to politics. This is like all it is, huh? Just this person did
sure.
it.
Well, yeah, I mean, but
this was his FBI. This was his FBI that didn't investigate. What,
True.
were they asleep? Like, what happened?
Okay,
what do you mean? How would they investigate if he was out of office in 2021?
They investigated. You said that this happened prior to the 2020 election, where they tried to get in with IDs, because like you can't vote like back in time. So like it would have had to come in like before the 2020 election. Therefore, that would be under Trump's first term.
I mean, sure, I guess they didn't know. I mean, I guess the argument that the Trump administration is making is they thought it was fraudulent, they didn't have any evidence, and then they came back and now they're finding some. I've said for a while there's been a few suspicious ones, like the Connecticut mayor. That one was the one where we had the videos of them literally stuffing the ballot box, and and they get elected in the runoff, and now there's like a whole bunch of people being on trial for it. And I've always kind of been like a smoke through this fire. Now, I kind of argued about, though, old Ken Paxton here in Texas trying to find stuff and offering up rewards and nothing coming up. I'm just kind of curious.
No, stuff did come up. Stuff did come up. Pennsylvania found three of them. The problem was he didn't want to pay out. Paxton didn't want to pay out because they were all Trump voters.
Okay, that's fair, I guess. But I mean, my point is, I feel like
that's like a completely unbiased retelling of it, and we're gonna just brush over it. Continue. Yes. Yeah, they didn't want to pay out to Trump voters. Totally discriminated.
Yeah, I mean,
the most highly persecuted group.
Well, to be fair, you know who Ken Paxton is. He's a corrupt piece of shit here in Texas that basically lives off his thing. So it wouldn't surprise me that corrupt man does, especially corrupt shit, doesn't pay people out for evidence against his own side. I'll say that. That's
Free Daddy Newsom. Free Daddy Newsom.
By the way, Fetterman found the 3 Trump voters who fraudulently voted for Trump, and he demanded that he be paid the bounty that he was demanding, and he actually sued and won in court, so he did get paid out.
I'm just seeing shades of Russiagate here, where like all the left was screaming Russia, collusion, and then this seems a lot more damning. It seems like China was doing stuff and our FBI didn't do anything, and we're just like scratching the dirty little thing.
Well, Russia trying to flip the election is one thing. Russia collusion meant that Trump was cooperating with Russia in that regard. That's the 2 different things.
Well, CNN already admitted that.
If this is like Russia collusion, then you would have, because so far nothing you've read or sent to us has accused the Democrats of doing anything. They're
literally,
accusing the CCP.
Literally all we have.
Even if this were a true story and they were trying to flip the election, it still wouldn't be collusion.
Well, no. Russia colluded to interfere in our elections. It just had nothing to do with the Trump administration and her campaign. So
no. Yeah, the collusion accusation was that they colluded with Trump and or colluded with the Trump campaign. Specifically, the thing that sticks the most is Roger Stone, because he was the go-between. But at any rate, this isn't the same, because there's no Democratic go-between that's being accused.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. There is a Democratic go-between that was accused. It's Hunter Biden with the Ukraine scandal and with Chinese interest involved. That was the accusation.
Well, you buried the lead.
You're building a giant bridge between these 2 things. You can collapse.
Jake Tapper went on live TV on CNN and said, "Yes, we know that Trump was now right about the Hunter Biden thing." I feel like this in conjunction with the 2.
Hunter Biden brought in the fake IDs? That's
he got rich and paid by the Chinese and Ukraine.
No. What you're talking about?
You're skipping a few steps.
Oh, yeah, hold on. What you're talking about is CEFC. This is the the investment firm, the Chinese investment firm that Xi Jinping's nephew and Hunter Biden co-owned together, that Hunter and Jim Biden weren't taking a salary from, and then as soon as Joe Biden left office, they got their salaries paid to them in full, and Joe Biden got a board seat.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with
nothing to do? That's what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
nothing to do with the IDs right now. CEFC was an investment firm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Well,
There's
hold
no
on.
collusion
Isn't every company owned by the state in China?
What?
Not
Isn't every company owned by the
necessarily.
state in China? Yeah, for the most part, they have like a lease for about a time, then China takes over.
That's great. So we need to build some pillars on this bridge. Like it collapsing in the middle.
It seems like it's very obvious to a lot of people, not me particularly. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. However, the conspiracy
Oh,
theory,
that's who it's obvious to. Yes.
a lot of people are saying, arguably on the right, that hey, these two are connected. We know that we have seen this Jake Tapper going on record saying we know that they got paid, they got rich from it. We know now that China was trying to get Biden elected. It seems like, hey, they're trying to, at least Hunter Biden is trying to, hey, work this out for Joe Biden for their political and financial interests. China helping us get, a few tens of thousands extra votes in key areas. Hey, totally not connected whenever the nephew of Xi Jinping is
Right,
over
so that
there
means
working with
China
Hunter.
owns Tesla, right? Because they've got the big gigafactory there, right? And since China owns Tesla, and Elon Musk, I'm just using the same logic, and Elon Musk, worked for Trump, so that means Trump was colluding with China.
Oh, those remotely the same. Like one, they're
Because
not
you
remotely
were
the same
saying
at
that
all.
because the government owns everything. Everything.
Wait, hold on.
that's
When did the
government
Tesla
is
factory
connected.
get built there?
What?
When did the Tesla factory get built there?
I don't know, 10, 15 years ago?
10, 15 years ago. And so the Tesla factory that's been there 10, 15 years ago, and they happen with Elon, who happens to have Chinese, interest with his Teslas, the same as Hunter Biden directly did pay for play. with
Tesla
Biden.
also signed a document pledging to support socialist ideals. Nobody in the Democratic Party signed a document to that effect.
I think AOC probably has signed something like that working with
She might be willing to, but I don't think she has. Not that I'm aware of.
They don't make you sign you don't have to sign a document. Like I never signed a document, when I went to that side of things.
I
It's
never
not,
actually
really
socialist.
paper.
Yeah, but you were never a DSA candidate. I would have to guess that there's some sort of, if you're going to take our campaign money, you have to somehow stay in line with our values in some way.
I don't think Chinese socialist ideals is part of what the DSA has to send document.
Yeah, probably.
Well, that's China. He just said socialist ideals. DSA member.
I'll have to go and look at what the exact wording was, but it was really funny that Tesla signed that document.
Sorry, copy you, Janet.
The thing is, your bridge that you were trying to build, right, between like Hunter Biden and China and all that, it literally, number one, it has nothing to do like with each other. Like at worst, this would be a situation like, the distinction that was made earlier, which was the Russia collusion with Trump versus Russia influencing our elections in some way. So the same thing technically in your world could be true with, there'd be a difference between Hunter Biden going, yeah, send those votes over, send those IDs in here, or them working together and then China going, hey, this is nice. It'd be nice if these people got elected completely independently, and then like trying to interfere in our election, which, by the way, there's no evidence that they actually did get to, just that fake IDs or whatever IDs were stopped at the border and confiscated. So we haven't even gotten to the point of any fraud, let alone outcome determinative, let alone that election was stolen, let alone any of that. So
China is the place to get cheap plastic things made, right? So if you're going to make a shit ton of fake IDs for whatever reason, because you want to sell them to teenagers or whatever, you're probably going to get them made in China.
Right. We
Especially now
literally,
that
that's what I was going to say earlier.
Because like
Go ahead,
we literally we at this time don't have any evidence that any actual fake IDs were used, and we don't have evidence of what they were used for. We know that 20,000 fake IDs were seized, which it doesn't even say that they were from China. Now, maybe there's evidence they were from China, but the news articles that I read never claimed that it was even from China.
In mind,
would you agree? Would you agree? Like, let me just.
They were used to buy Four Locos.
You brought up this number right here, and you said we know these were seized, right? So, like, all right, say I caught 20,000 tons of cocaine coming into the United States.
Oh, you're a very rich man.
Well,
then.
Would you agree that there's probably more cocaine
I'll
coming
be
in the United
hosting
States?
tonight if that were the case.
Yes, but if you could see
There
in
should be more.
Cincinnati that there were 18,000
Thank you, Don.
kilos of
Well,
cocaine.
I would agree, but you would see evidence of that elsewhere too. Like you would see people on the streets using cocaine or whatever. And in this case, we would probably see, people not on the voter rolls voting or whatever. And like there's been plenty of audits in the 2020 election, and we just don't really see evidence of like mass fraud almost anywhere.
Well, and also let's take a look at these IDs, right? Because not only would we have to have fake IDs with the correct seal on them for the state and everything else that would pass muster, but also they would have to have addresses, signatures, both that would correspond to the addresses and signatures that are on the voting rolls, so that when you take one of those fake IDs, and the picture would have to somewhat look like you as well on top of that, and then you hand it to somebody who then checks the address with the address that's actually registered, and then checks the signature with the signature that's on file. So these have to be individuated fake IDs.
Here's the problem I'm having with this. Thank you for the TS. Yeah, I got the hand holding. I'll just like play the big bag of services, my friends.
Looking for the people. It's only because
Yeah. So this is what I'm seeing, right? Like right now, it seems like for years, Republicans have been alleging there's a deep state, there's collusion, right? And all these things aren't fair for the working man. Then we come and start peeling back this onion now that Trump's get elected, right? We had the Hunter Biden stuff, which we know is a pay-to-play.
Tom Salt, thanks for the raid.
Especially since Biden
Fuck yeah. Why is there no audio for it?
Pardoned him on all this stuff, right? Then we see China, who's got a vested interest in keeping Biden. Now we're seeing them bring IDs in, allegedly. And then we have this mass immigration.
No right-winger showed up for this conversation.
Which is already
so it's a circle jerk.
Suspicious.
You
And
all
let
are
a lot
stuck
of
with me
really
now.
far out there
Get
guys
fucked.
argue about the great replacement. Then we see leftist cities actually allowing legal immigrants, some of them dubious legal immigrants, like I don't know if they're really even legal kind of thing, allowing them to vote. Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. And like allegedly, they're also sitting here going and like in these cities, and they're allowing them to vote. This seems like everything's kind of pointing at exactly what Republicans have been pointing to as this great democratic evil strategy. And now, even with more recently, we see after the what's it called? Doge has cut funding to USA. Suddenly, the Democratic Party is out. Seems like an awful out of money. Awful lot of coincidences here. At what point do we admit that we need to start looking at this more under the table? Because too many coincidences kind of sound sus. I don't believe in coincidences in my real life. Do y'all believe in coincidences here? Go ahead, Tyler.
No, it's not a coincidence at all, because these are all stories made up by the far right. Look, you have. I gave you a specific objection to the thing that this topic is supposed to be about, which is those IDs. Show me that those IDs have addresses on them that match the voter ID rolls. Because if that were the case, you would have indictments tomorrow or yesterday.
He's right. At the end of the
Freaking
day,
4 years ago.
it's a fishing expedition. You're
4 years ago.
asking, you're asking for an investigation into things where there's no proof of anything wrong. USAID being cut.
How do you get the proof?
That you have to see something.
You have to have an investigation, right?
Yeah, something has to
start looking
align.
into it, don't you? Oh,
there's a certain level of
Just make the
proof that
fake
has
IDs
to be
public.
established to start an investigation. We saw this. This is why I'm against Crossfire Hurricane, because there was not enough evidence in the databases of any of the intel agencies, and Peter Strzok was well aware of that. There was not enough evidence to open a full-scale investigation. It's in the Durham report, and he did it anyways, and that's why it's a bad thing. Unless there's a certain amount of evidence cleared, it becomes a fishing expedition. Fishing expeditions are often bad. Most of the time they're bad. I guess they're always bad to some degree, even if they turn up something good. There's a set of rules that the people in power need to follow, and one of them is you need to clear certain bars before investigations into your life can be opened by law enforcement.
This is, by the way, all from one relatively new confidential source, is what the FBI said. So there's not exactly what.
Although, to be fair, I am for investigating this. I mean, it would, first of all, it'd be a big, colossal waste of time for them. So what other bullshit thing that they could be doing instead, they wouldn't be able to do because they'd be doing this. So, yeah, let's do it. Let's full investigation on these fake IDs.
Thanks.
Right. And I mean, if you wanted to do if I wanted to be Gibbs for a moment and do the isn't it weird, then couldn't we just as easily say, isn't it weird that this investigation, despite apparently his first FBI being asleep, This investigation starting up, and now that it's under Kash Patel, a dude that was extremely adamant about the 2020 election being stolen. Like you could do one of those too, just as easily.
Yeah, I mean, imagine the guy that thinks there's something stolen would make it a high priority to investigate it, and then find something within a relatively short period of time of starting. I mean, you don't find this at all suspicious that like there's links to the Biden administration and suddenly China is trying to slip these things in to get him elected? There's no suspicion at all on y'all's part.
There's no.
Listen, they control.
We don't even know that it was to vote.
So
no, it says in the article that they knew it was specifically to get him elected.
So listen, they control all the levers of government right now. Anybody want to place bets on whether there'll be indictments?
I mean, no, I don't want to place bets. That's
all right. There you go.
I mean, now if y'all want to place bets, go by all means.
I think the debate is done.
Well, I think that it's just the initial stages. I mean, I was told there was no election fraud. Then we have examples in Connecticut. We have the Trump ones. I feel like it's pretty easy to get election fraud, like all things considered, as long as we don't have voter ID. I mean,
okay, because so expand it. Expand it. Indictments on anything to prove 2020 voter fraud. Not even convictions, just indictments.
Well, let's move it on here. What do we think? What do we think with the area? Just move it on a little bit since it's a 6v1, 5v1, and I feel like I'm not getting any ground here with any.
Where are your righties?
Yeah, they disappeared. It's okay. It's fine. I also just don't want to be as aggressive as I could be. No, I feel like
I want you to come on, yell at us. Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. I just find this ludicrous that this line of logic, because I sit here and I come on these panels all the time, right? And I see these dramatic leaps of logic by the left, like, oh, America's owned by the Jews, bro. And, like, I see these other things where it's, like, all these wild just jumps. Yeah, bro, I saw this the other day on a panel. I was literally arguing on, I think it was Primes, and someone, and I think Doobie and Prime were arguing that America's controlled by the Jews, right? And
they're Democrats now?
Do you, yeah.
I mean, is Prime and Doobie not Democrats?
Prime is
not. I don't know.
Prime is absolutely
He's
Democrat.
Either.
He's
in what world?
Prime
yeah, and he doesn't support the Democrats.
Oh my God, bro, they're absolutely Dibs.
If you want to get that dishonest left winger in here, Sounsel's in chat.
True.
I mean,
they didn't vote for Democrats, so I mean, you can assign them Democrat assigned by Gibbs. That's fine, but they didn't vote for Democrats.
And also, when you just mean they have issues with APAC, right? Like I don't know their exact positions.
They're not the only ones. There's lots of Dims that are mad about Israel, right? And I hear all the time on Twitter, on here. There's these. Sure. I mean, if y'all want to say they're not Dims, I think they're Dims, but whatever. Okay. Fine. I mean, Doobie's like a centrist authoritarian, I guess. I don't really know. But, like, if we're sitting there, we're going to go through it. I see, like, y'all can't act like we don't see giant leaps. And then when, like, Republicans point out some of these, I would even say less large leaps, like China providing IDs, Hunter Biden being involved with China for direct pay for play. We're seeing, like, Chinese influence in the South China Sea, and they're always doing all sorts of hacking and shit and trying to fight here. It's not a large leap for me to go, oh, China potentially did exactly what the people on January 6th bitched about. Like, it's stolen and used fake IDs, especially in conjunction with the mass immigration push, the Dems pushing for legal immigrants to go vote in local counties. These are not conspiracies right there. Neither one of those. We know that there was mass immigration push by the Biden. We know there was, like, local counties that have allowed legal immigrants to vote. We know that there was corruption, at least on a local level, for some major races in Connecticut and some others. Like, I don't see it as a huge jump to go, hey, I see smoke, there's fire, and then y'all go, nah. And then every time this happens, just like with the senility thing, I was like, oh, this is going to become bigger. I said, oh, these guys are going to talk about it. I'm going to have to disable the TTS on this on this panel, I guess. But my point is with this, that they come in and I see these things repeatedly, and y'all just like, nope, hand wave, just like the senility thing. I'm just told by everybody, Biden's not senile, ends up being senile. Oh, he was in charge, yada, for how many auto pins, right? I just don't see this as that big of a leap, especially if Biden's just a walking vegetable.
Too big of a leap for it to place a bet, though, right?
I mean, I don't have enough evidence. This is just, the question is, at what level?
Okay, then it's a leap.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's a leap. I think it's a reasonable conclusion to come to.
It's a safe bet. You should, yeah.
Well, it's not a safe bet. I mean, I could also come to the conclusion that God is a flying spaghetti monster that hides behind the moon. If I thought about it, Yeah, if I thought about enough of the coincidences that led up to it, I mean, I just am not so. I mean, I'm not generally a conspiracy theorist in general, and thus, but I am trying to argue from their
You would
point.
lose that bet, right? Like you
Well,
wouldn't be
hold
able
on.
to.
Sorry, I just have to talk about one thing you said. You can't, like you said, I'm sorry to interrupt you, by the way. You said that this is exactly what they were talking about with January 6th. Like you said this a while back. This is exactly what they complained about with January 6th was just IDs. IDs were an extremely small part of it. Like we were mainly talking about stuff like mail-in voting and fraudulent voting machines, not illegal immigrants using fake IDs necessarily.
I mean, all three are portions of it. I mean, we've all heard the Great Replacement theory, have we not? Like, we've all heard that bullshit. Yes.
Well, yeah, I don't think
we've heard about
most people
like,
on the
phrenology
ground in
and
January.
race science. What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah,
No,
most people on the ground
were...
on January 6th were not talking about Great Replacement theory. They were talking about an OAN video they saw of people stuffing ballots in Georgia. Like,
I mean, it's all of them. I mean, I know people that were there, and they're all definitely online with the Great Replacement bullshit. I don't know how like we can argue these aren't like in the same overlapping Venn diagram, and like why the conservatives would some conservatives would come to these conclusions, and then y'all just hand wave it, just like the Biden thing. Y'all told me the Biden one I with. Maybe I was a conspiracy theorist on Biden, but all of a sudden now it's looking like maybe who really was running the country? Like, and y'all are like, oh well, there's totally no reason to wonder about this election now, and then we get this kind of thing.
Well, there wasn't before, and there's not now. I mean, right now we have literally just an allegation that they tried to bring fake IDs into the country, but were stopped by Border Patrol. And now we don't see any outcome determinative fraud of this. We don't see
those IDs are
people with fake
useless for
IDs.
voting unless they have specific addresses that match voter rolls, and that would immediately cause indictments, like instantaneously back then.
Right. Like
I don't understand. Like a random piece of plastic, fake ID, isn't going to do anything to let people vote. It's not going to do anything. It has to match an address and a signature.
Right, and we're talking about
get those? How are we trying to get that data anyway? And if they did, then the IDs that they confiscated would be a slam dunk prosecution. It would make a prosecutor's career.
Right,
yeah,
and when we're talking about this too, like we're talking, like a lot of the arguments people made prior to January 6th was that, these Democrat places that are inviting illegal immigrant, blah, 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 voting, is that they didn't have voter ID laws and that anybody could vote by mail without an ID. What are they using a fake ID for in that conspiracy? Like, what do we need the ID for?
Easily. I mean, some states do require it. I mean, the other thing would be you would register to vote, with some of these paperworks. It's part of moving to new areas. I mean, also you move to certain areas with your fake ID and whatnot, and then you establish yourself. Oh, I'm a citizen now, and I can go with my fake stuff, and I can go register to vote with just mailing stuff in. Like, that's not that hard. I don't feel like it's that big a leap.
Addresses and signatures match.
All right, so in Texas, for example, how do we register to vote, ICAL?
By mail usually.
Right. And what paper do they send out? What's on that paper?
Well, they send it to you in an envelope, and inside of that envelope is a cardboard thing that has your address and information on it, and then you sign it, and then you send it back in.
You fill it out, right?
Yes.
So now, if I had a fake ID, and a fake whatever, and I rented a house, and Texas sent me that information, what information would I put on that voter registration?
We could put any information on there at that point.
I would put the one that matches my fake ID, right?
Right, precisely.
And then I would be able to go vote, right? Then I'd be able to go vote because now I have backing up documentation.
Yes, that's right.
And right?
Right, and those fake IDs that were confiscated, if they had that address on a house that you rented in order to vote. First of all, the amount of money that it would take to rent a house in order to do one fake vote, the ROI on that is ridiculous. You're talking about you're going to pay how much? Say $2,000 in rent.
China doesn't care. China don't care. They're rich.
Wait, China's saying illegal immigrants have a fake ID. They say you rent a house in Texas.
They're already selling.
Why do we have no evidence of this?
They're already selling fentanyl over there.
And
why can't they do
and you're smoking it right now. Clearly, what the fuck?
I mean, I wish I was smoking some fent. That'd be wild times. Not really. I'm not. Just kidding, Twitch. No, I'm just saying.
Well, hold on, Gibbs. I'm going to give you an offer. All right. You pay me $2,000, and I'll let you vote twice. But if you get caught, you're the one who goes to jail. Will you take that deal?
Wait, say that again.
You give me $2,000 and I'll give you a second vote. Okay, for $2,000, and if you get caught, you're the one who goes to jail. Is that risk analysis like good enough? Like,
I
would
mean,
you
here's
do that?
here's the third factor. I'm also a legal alien who's going to get arrested if they find me anyway.
What, they came here?
So why does it matter?
So they
at
can
that
get
point?
3 squares in jail. Is that the goal? They're hoping to get arrested so that we have to feed them. Is that
no,
what
you
you're
could
saying?
literally just do proof of residency change. That was my argument earlier, but I was muted. I was like screaming.
See?
Duh, because you could, yeah, with most of the stuff, like, because bro, as someone who's moved way too many times, my address never matches the one on my fucking ID, okay? Like,
Yeah.
you can literally just do proof of residency change with some mail, fake some mail, boom, you got 3 documents, boom. Like, thank you.
Yeah,
See?
sure.
Exactly. Prove my point right there.
How many people are doing this?
But we would have evidence of that,
I
right?
don't know.
It would
We're
be
just
on the
finding
card.
out.
There's already
We're not
been
finding
audits
anything
in
out.
the
This is
2020
finding out that they
election.
tried to bring fake
That would be
IDs
a
in the
good
country but
effort.
got caught. We didn't find shit out with this. What are you talking about?
We're finding it out here. Go ahead.
There's already been so many people that looked into this. I don't know why we would expect.
Who looked into it?
Trump's own team looked into it. There were, I think, the Associated Press did their audit in swing states and found like 500 fraudulent votes in all
And
7
Cash
swing
Patel
states.
looked into it, right? Like he could
Yeah.
have shown, oh, look, all these addresses match the voter rolls. Let's do it. Let's go arrest these people. He didn't do that. He just said vaguely that there were fake IDs, and then he stopped at that. Is it because Cash Patel hates Trump and doesn't want to prove that there was 2020 voter fraud? Like he's like super biased?
Here's what we're gonna do. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I don't really want to die on a hill for a topic that I'm not a true believer in the cause. But so we're gonna move topics here. We got a lot of other news we can discuss. I think we can find some argument amongst y'all here. What are our thoughts on the Iran and Israel, and should the U.S. get involved, and how it relates to Ukraine? What do we think about that? Let's start with Tyler here.
Fuck yeah, finally. This war has been going on since October 7th. The 7 proxies that Iran has been funding to attack Israel, the 2 places in Palestine, West Bank and Gaza, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, groups out of Iraq are even shooting at them, and Iran themselves took shots at them. Finally, we're going after the root cause, the main funder of state-funded terrorism in the world. We're finally taking it to them. No, it's Iran. Iran gives more. And a lot of that money came from the JCPOA cough. And so I'm more than ecstatic. This is actually somebody going and taking care of the actual issue instead of just pussyfooting around to try to keep everyone happy.
Yeah.
I would say no, but not for the reasons people think. I would say no because Israel has already won this war. It's over. They have absolutely destroyed Iran. There's really nothing we can do to make it better. They have air superiority. They own the skies over Iran, so they can bomb whatever the hell they want, and they don't need American help to do any of that. If we're going to go in and do it, it will only be because that way we can claim some of the victory, right? So at most, I think what Trump will do is fly some planes over there, drop a few bombs, maybe a bunker buster, because it's never been done before, and it would be historical or whatever, but it wouldn't be anything that Israel couldn't already have done on its own. And that'd be the only reason to do it, so that we can claim some credit. But he won't do anything significant. He won't do anything like hard, because if Iran responds by shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, that shuts down the world economy. And Trump won't go that far. He'll drop some bombs, he'll claim victory, and then he'll be gone. But he doesn't really have to do anything because Israel has already won this war.
Katya.
I think that for the most part, if Israel's already got this, which I tend to agree with, unless we can, prove that this is a bigger threat than that Israel doesn't pretty much have on their own, I don't see a need to put our troops in the fight, because we've already been dragged into enough shit. And then what? Then, we kick their butt again, and then either we just let them lie there and Russia do whatever the fuck they're gonna do, or then it's another situation where we're there until kingdom come. and it doesn't do that much because occupation only really, causes change if you're there for like a bazillion years. And right now, with how topsy-turvy our politics are, can we guarantee that that'll happen? Probably the fuck not. So, I mean, I'm gonna go with no, probably this is not the best idea for us to personally get involved. And I see a ton of people who supported Trump who were like, yeah, because Kamala's gonna bring us into war in the Middle East. Trump will never do that. He's going to create peace. Now they're like, yeah, we're going to go fight in Iran. Let's go. It's like, okay, where was that? I don't know. Good luck.
Not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a case to be made for striking like certain underground Iran nuclear enrichment facilities if Iran does like a nothing burger response like they do a lot of times. I'm not really sure. The issue is I don't have a good mechanism for like assigning probability of Iran doing like a nothing burger response versus shutting down global trade or whatever. I could see a case to be made for that, but one, I haven't read too far into this, but the Iran nuclear deal seemed like a decent status quo to me, and I don't think that tearing up that deal and letting Iran continue to enrich nuclear weapons or enrich uranium the way they're doing now is.
What they were doing.
Yeah, I don't think that's, I think Trump bears responsibility for putting us in this situation in the first place, at least partly. And secondly, I mean, I would agree with the notion, like, I do think Israel has has achieved a lot of the goals that they can achieve, and they might need our help to reach certain underground bunkers, but other than that, I don't see why we would necessarily need to intervene.
Yeah, what do you think?
I'm gonna, after immense consideration, I'm going to go ahead and plead the fifth on this one. I don't want to lose any more friends after this shit.
It'll be all right. What's the worst that could happen? This is online. You got to give your opinions. You have an opinion on whether we should invade Iran. Are you pro Ukraine? Let's just see if we can get all the sticks in here with your friends. Do you like the Ukrainians? Do you want to keep funding the Ukrainians?
Kristen Keller, just everybody. Oh.
I mean,
Kel here.
I'm gonna go ahead and plead. Wait, can I phone a friend?
No. Is it a fucking conservative? Because we could use one of those on here to bash.
Well, no, I mean, I find it funny that the same people that are, two things have happened recently with this that make me want to do this as a topic here today. I found all of a sudden, just like with tariffs, the lefties understanding what economics is or trickle down economics is. I've now heard after Iran threatened the nuclear system, more liberal lefty women in my life and all my friends suddenly wondering why our border was not secure, and we could have maybe have potential Iranians in here with a dirty bomb or a nuke that they could have snuck in across the border. I feel like it's really entertaining that suddenly, now these are concerns that they suddenly understand. Seems like a lot of little hypocrisy there. They now realize that y'all are now realizing an unsecure border is a problem when you have a country like Iran that sponsors all the state terrorism. Kelly, you raised your hand.
Oh no, I was just saluting our troops. I said disavow.
Look like a
because Iranian people are
Elon Musk to me.
Always.
Well, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard though sponsors terrorism quite a bit. What about you, Tyler?
We're this liberal women saying that we need border security because there's going to be a dirty bomb across the border. I've never heard this in my life. I don't know where
this happened last night. They were saying that they were going to bomb
us.
Who
said this?
Iran said they were going to bomb us, and all of a sudden,
Iran is a liberal woman.
And Iran said this, and TikTok went crazy with a bunch of lefties and libs that I know. All on there saying,
"3 days ago, and it hasn't happened." So
Look, well, sure, politically, Iran and Ukraine are allies. If you're funding one war, you should be funding the other. What we're seeing from Russia on the ropes after losing over 1 million.
Wait, you mean Russia and Iran?
What? Yeah, not Iran and Ukraine.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Russia and Iran, our enemies. So what we see is Russia's lost over 1 million casualties. It doesn't necessarily mean deaths, but 1 million people are.
Iran is their number one arms dealer. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're out. The fact that they couldn't supply troops to help their proxy state just to the south of them, Syria, and Syria got overrun by rebels that weren't even backed by a major world power. It was Qatar and Turkey backing those rebels up, shows that Russia does not have the manpower to spare. We're now going after one of their biggest suppliers, one of their, I guess their competition in oil, but it's all going to China anyways for the most part. We're going in and destroying one of their best allies. So not only is it a message to Putin, like, hey, we're not fucking around, it's just the difference is Putin has nukes. So we can't do the same thing to him, obviously. We can't bully him in the same way. But if we're going around and hurting his world power on the world stage, good shit for me. Take that at fucking commie bastards.
I mean, I don't think
Good
anyone...
for Texas, we got $76 WTI right now, you know. So we're making a little bit of money off of that, the high oil prices.
True. I don't think anyone fundamentally disagrees with like weakening Iran. I think it's a question of, do we just like give intel to Israel and let Israel do their shit, or do we like directly intervene? But I'm also, Tyler, I'm curious, like, what is your? I'm curious what your evidence is, because I think you would probably have some that the Iran nuclear deal wasn't working or wasn't effective, or
wasn't like, what do you mean by working? Like it delayed them from working on a nuke in their own borders for 12 years. That part of it worked.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
and the goal was 10.
Yeah,
JCPOA's goal was 10 years, to delay them by 10 years, and it's done it by 12 so far. So,
it did that well. The cost of it was significantly worse. We gave them tens of billions of dollars that we saw got directly funneled to terrorism. They also got U.S. security guarantees, which saw them moving into 3 different territories, to Syria and Iraq being the major 2 that they started taking land in. All sorts of shit that Iran got as a benefit to try to create an equalization of power in the region between Iran and Israel, so that they could balance each other out and cause mutually assured destruction levels of peace without them getting a nuke, because again, they are 10 times bigger. So it didn't work because we basically gave them money to fund terrorism and they used it against Israel.
Well, that was their own money that was unfrozen or whatever. I don't know. Do you have evidence that it was actually used for terrorism, or is that just like you assume like all Iranian money is immediately going to the Houthis or whatever? Like,
not all of it. I would say we have a breakdown of some of it. Some of it goes to the martyr funds that they pay Palestinians to die on camera. Some of it goes to all sorts of shit. Like, we saw it being funneled to terrorism. I can't tell you off the top of my head to what magnitude, to what groups or anything like that. That would take a deeper dive.
I think the burden of proof there would be to show that they wouldn't have done any of those things had they not been given that money.
They probably would have.
They just would have turned peaceful if they didn't have $10 billion.
No, they just wouldn't have as much to do it with. Like, Iran potentially would have attacked Russia without Joe Biden approving their pipeline, but approving their pipeline gave them a ton more money to attack Ukraine. I keep fucking up my nations. Russia would not have attacked Ukraine if they didn't. They still probably would have done something. It just wouldn't have been to that magnitude because they wouldn't have had that Nord Stream 2 pipeline money. So, like, it doesn't say it's going to negate them. It's helping them achieve their goals by not keeping.
By the way, I don't think it was 10 billion. I think it was 1.7 billion.
But again, it was $4 billion in cash pallet. But then there was also other sanction money he gave them as well. I think the total was 16 billion they got under Obama.
Yeah, but then you've got to look at all the sanctions that Obama slapped on them prior to that. Yeah. I don't know if you remember. Well, no question. Nobody here probably remembers it. But in 2008, there was that big debate, presidential debate, and Obama was criticized by the Republicans for saying that he would start the sanctions anyway, because they said he was like playing with war or whatever. But he did, and he slapped a ton of sanctions on Iran that cost them over the intervening 4 to 5 years many billions of dollars, way more than what that cash pallet was worth. And then at the end, he returned the money that was theirs, but he ended up with his sanctions costing them far, far more than what he was giving him.
Sure.
So if you were to reverse both of those actions, like just undo the say Obama wasn't actually elected in 2008, Iran would have more money, not less.
Sure, but I mean, if we were playing that hypothetical game, we reverse the election and Mitt Romney won, they'd be no deal, and them being even broker. Like, you're right that he did slap some things on them to give them the negotiating table, but at the end of the day, he took a lot of them away and gave them that money back that was used for terrorism.
And the argument by Republicans at the time was that sanctions are toothless, and there's no way, and that is no way he'd be even able to get them to the negotiating
Sure,
table.
but their argument now is Marco Rubio, the future president of the Republican Party, when he came into office, he said, we're going to keep Iran broke again. So that was their goal, is to keep them starving for money so they can't fund their 7 terror proxies that are attacking us, 6 terror proxies they use to attack Israel.
Listen, I'm all for regime change there because it's a terrible government, but I'll just say that we took them like Bibi Netanyahu was in front of the United Nations.
That's a good question right there, Cal. That's a good question. Who here? Raise your hand if you're in favor of Iranian regime change.
Depends.
I mean, like, in the same way, like, I'm in favor of, like, North Korean regime change. Like, I'd prefer the North Korean government not to be in charge.
It was just a broad question. I'm not trying to gotcha nobody. I just was curious.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it was possible, but there's, like, a lot of discussion to be had on if, like, any sort of good results through, like, forceful, like, regime change.
Israel said today that they're going to ignore Trump because Trump told them to not to take out the Ayatollah. And they said, fuck that, we're going to take out the Ayatollah at the first available opportunity. So, yeah, I mean, that...
Well, allegedly, they've been bombing his bunker all day, so he might be dead now. But what were you...
Which
Ayatollah? You had your hand up, Kel? What were you saying?
What did we say right before this?
Who would be in favor of Iranian regime change?
Oh, yeah, no, it reminds me of, like, when lefties come on and they're like, oh, yeah, well, we need to deconstruct the system bottom from the top. Like, Ivory, like, when he argues like that, I'm like, yeah, ideally, but we need, like, applicable, yeah, like actionable things that, breakdownable. Okay, fine.
That's
right,
my
like, and you have to have people who, like, at least some sector of the population there that is, like, that has a an appetite for it, because then you get situations with, you know, like when we left fucking Afghanistan, wrong country, where shit got real and, like, the Taliban is, like, freaking everywhere, and life for individuals who they like to target, you know, namely women, as well as just the entire populace there in general, has been trash because they didn't have an appetite to maintain the changes that were existent there while we were hanging out. And without people there who are willing to go along with it, then, you know, it just becomes a boomerang effect.
Yeah, straight up.
Go ahead.
Ladies first.
No, you were saying so. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go, Kel.
No, we should just have a pizza party. That's what I was going to say.
No, a pizza party, man.
Yeah, where the left could come together, you know, and have, like, cohesive ideas, and everyone would participate. It's a callback to...
Oh, yeah, to the Ivory saying, yeah, we just need to reinvent political campaigning to be more inclusive. Yeah, we tried that.
And stuff, yeah.
He took an L. I was my third win on the DCS. I'm out here crushing it these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes in the contender series. We
Women,
will see.
Children, none shall be spared from my wrath.
But yeah, back to the Iranian subject. Yeah, I found it very interesting that recently, you know, like, we all know that Iran is the biggest state sponsor of terrorism. We've seen what they've done with the Houthis, Hamas, and Hezbollah, and then we've had this very large unsecured border. The idea they might have agents here that could cause some kind of attack scared some people on TikTok, I feel like, and suddenly they understood border security. Is that how y'all feel here? Are y'all not worried that this porous border could allow Iranian agents to attack on American soil in some capacity?
People on TikTok are afraid of hotel sinks. Okay, like, I don't know. I think, you know, you're always gonna get some people, you know, who think that this stuff is gonna happen, but, like, they've had a desire to do stuff like that. They've certainly not been adverse to doing stuff like that, or at least in, you know, other nations, potentially like the US, for however long. I mean, I don't know if that's even that much of a concern at this point. I don't know, you know, if, like, what you're talking about like a more secure border, the way that a border would have to be secure in the way that, you know, people talk about normally, would even necessarily stop something like that, because a lot of it's talking about kicking people out who are here and then, like, preventing people from living here legally. I mean, anybody can get, like, let's say, like, even a travel visa and come here and then, like, you know, do some shit. Like, I don't know.
Right. I don't think there's any, like, I'm sure technically, like, there's maybe, like, depending on, like, the, you know, standard for claiming asylum, there's like probably a very negligible impact on the ability of Iran to get someone through that process. But like, it's gotta be super fucking small. Like, I don't think there's any.
But can a dirty bomb get asylum? That's the real question.
I was gonna say the Nuke has to have asylum.
I mean, y'all are laughing, but it wouldn't be that hard to go through. I mean, we just shut down a tunnel with ventilation, with like railroad carts for like drug, massive quantities of drug in California. We find these all the time, all over Texas and Cali. Like, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to me if an Iranian paid, cartel to sneak them in here, and they snuck the pieces in for a dirty bomb over time in the U.S. I don't think it's like even that hard or unfeasible, and y'all are kind of acting like, oh, this is just the stuff of science fiction, which, I mean, is it really? Like,
I mean,
Well, they could people put a flyer on a travel visa and take the parts in their fucking whatevers, or like come here on like whatever the fuck else. Like, I mean, we're talking about. Do you think this would even be feasibly like stopped if like people were sophisticated enough to be like being able to build these things and have these plans in the first place? Most people who plan like mass violence are honestly retarded, and their plans turn out shit.
Governments have had reasons to do this to us since nuclear weapons were invented, right? 60, 70 years, whatever long it was. So the real question is it so likely that it's already happened before? Or have we like just been incredibly like miraculously lucky to have stopped every single attempt?
I mean, have we? Because I mean, September 11th happened.
The reason wait, how many dirty bombs were involved in September 11th?
I mean, it's not a dirty bomb, but go ahead.
Who knows? Gibbs isn't a conspiracy theorist, but maybe there were some dirty.
I'm not. Hold on. It's not a conspiracy theory. Hold on. I mean, then again, now if I was gonna do a conspiracy theory, I'd be like, well, how did Air India fucking land on a
jet fuel does not
building?
melt steel beams. There had to have been at least a few dirty bombs in those.
Well,
planes.
I mean, you can, hold on. I mean, if we were gonna do that conspiracy theory, I'd be like, well, how did the 747 Air India crash into a building and the building not get demolished with the at the same kind of speed as whatever they did in the 9/11? For like a much weaker style of building, I'd be asking that kind of question. Makes you wonder.
It didn't have a dirty bomb in it.
I didn't have a dirty bomb in it. The answer.
But
y'all are sitting here. I get people going, oh, these hypotheticals. I mean, are you like? Didn't we even have one in 2023, like an Iranian spy ring broken up with like some of Biden's people getting in charge with it?
Contributed. Look, in 2021, Iran continued providing weapons. Okay, that's not what I thought it was. Never mind. Sorry, I thought that was the same thing.
But yeah, I mean, we know they sponsor terrorism worldwide, and we have seen them in several countries. Why are you saying that they are not capable of moving people across the Mexican border or the Canadian border?
No, we're saying they're not capable of assembling a dirty bomb undetected and transporting it.
Yeah, that's
or like an equivalent.
They could get people through. Yeah, sure, that's possible.
You think they could do an equivalent terroristic style attack here?
They were threatening to kill. They were trying to kill Trump, I thought, in 2024, and the Biden administration went after them went after people they had in the country.
Yeah, your senator Gibbs, your senator said that they're not capable of killing Trump, that they don't have the ability to even do that.
They got to Salman Rushdie.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, we get to smaller and smaller attacks that they would be potentially capable of. Okay, so we can't do dirty bomb, we could do this. Okay, we can't do that, we could do this. And then you get to a point where it's just not worth it to do it anymore, because like if some, terrorist attack or like very like, clearly Iran involved like mass death or like, tragedy event happen here, like that would absolutely get us involved regardless of Israel. And I mean, we kicked their ass in 3 seconds the last time. It might be a similar situation this time. So unless they're really going to get a big gain, I don't understand why they would even, try to do that.
Also, Iran kind of knows that there's only so much we can do. Like, there's not going to be a ground invasion. They've got 90 million people, and they don't.
Well, if they attack within our borders, you don't think we would invade?
No, they're not. They're not going to. They're not going to do that kind of. At most, what they're going to do is they're going to destroy the infrastructure around the Straits of Hormuz, like around the Gulf of Oman, around the UAE, places like that. And they can like hurt the global economy for a few months. They can do that. They've mined the Straits of Hormuz before as well.
If your regime is falling, you wouldn't be like, all right, send in
They don't need to come over here to hurt us.
Hold on. If your regime's going to fall, like allegedly like Iran's might, you wouldn't be like, last hurrah, let's get them on their turf?
Last hurrah is taking out the Strait of Hormuz. Destroying the world economy, like that's how they hurt the West the most.
Well, why not both?
By doing that.
Why not both? Like, are you acting like these are like you can't walk and chew bubblegum at the time? We can mine the Strait of Hormuz and have activate our sleeper agents in the United States.
I don't think you understand like how badly they've been like discombobulated by Israel. They don't have the capabilities they had just a week ago. And even back then, even before all of those attacks, they didn't have the ability to do something like that. They just didn't. You'd have to move that thing not just
so what
across
you're saying is Trump's Mideast policy is working because now the biggest state-sponsored terrorism has had their ass kicked by Israel, and that's going to lead to a more stable or at least less threatening Middle East overall. Would
I suspect Israel was going to do that anyway, but
Israel was doing things that Trump said don't do. They're like, we're going to do it anyway. So obviously, it's because Trump is here.
Their strategy is to do the opposite of what Trump says. Yes.
When's Q coming?
Who's Q?
Oh, we forgot about him.
You should know, Gibbs. Swear to God.
The homie. But yeah, Iran likes to just like.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like to.
Okay, go ahead.
Come out with these fucking play like they'll like raise their red flag of fucking revenge and they'll say tomorrow we're coming out with the fucking biggest thing. It's gonna knock your socks off. You're gonna piss and shit. It's gonna be crazy. And then we're like, huh? What was that? Like, what did they forget? Did they fall asleep? Like, they do this. They've done this in the past. They like pull up this big game and then they don't deliver. So I don't know how much capability they really have at the moment.
Don't you also think, Gibbs, though, like there is a chance that if Iran does actually do like a real response, like we could actually have a worse situation in the Middle East? Like, first of all, if Iran, if we did something real fucked and Iran actually fell into civil war, maybe you could argue in the long term that'd be good for the Middle East, but I feel like short term, I don't think that'd be a stability enhancing feature for the Middle East. And I think if Iran did shut down trade, that seems like it would leave us worse off.
Well, to engage with what you're saying there, right? Like, yeah, if Iran falls into a civil war, I think, it would be kind of this thing where, the difference is it might be more unstable from the aspect of like, there's more terror groups, there's yada yada. Maybe the likelihood of any kind of individual rise of like a terror group would be bad or terror attacks would be bad. However, I do think the long term would be better. I also think it's more stable from a idea that now there's not a country that's going to be able to back these groups financially and like protect people within their borders or have this tech to like give out to these people. Like it's going to be a lot harder for the Houthis and the Hezbollah to have these kind of like resources if there's no one providing the logistical support like the Iranian Revolutionary Guard has been doing, or to provide the tech like their scientists are doing with the drones that the Houthis and the Hezbollah have been using, or the missile expertise. I think that'll like calm things down dramatically and make it force them to use a lot less like technical skill things. You're gonna have like a lot smaller scale attack. Maybe like we go back to car bombings instead of launching rockets indiscriminately from these areas. I mean, I don't know if that's a pro or con, but it seems like they'd be less effective at a smaller scale overall. I mean, would you disagree with that statement?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't know how to. I don't know actually, because I don't know what capabilities Iran has that are necessarily lost if a different if their equipment gets into the hands of terrorist groups and they don't have the same like logistical support. I don't like Hamas is able to fire rockets. Now they're not as advanced as Iranian rockets, but I feel like whatever terror group in Iran's civil war would be able to do a lot of damage as well. Like I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between the power between even quasi states and like ISIS and whatever, and like the actual state Iran, and there's just a power level difference, like a legitimacy level difference. They can do things like create tax laws that are better for them. They can have the oil production. They're able to make alliances with other countries like Russia. Et cetera, et cetera.
Well, there is that. I don't know how likely this is. I would also be worried that any strike on Iran would lead them to actually try to do some mutual defense treaty with China or Russia, which I don't know how likely that is, but I would be worried about fostering that relationship. But I mean, they seem to be allies anyway, so I don't know how big of a concern.
Basically said he's abandoning Iran. He doesn't care about Iran.
Yeah.
He used them while they were useful, and at this point, they're a liability. He's cutting them loose.
Nobody's really spoken up. China hasn't said much. All sorts of people are just kind of letting this happen. Oil's still flowing how it's supposed to and everything. It seems like everyone's just like, all right, Iran, you're on your own. Fuck
Russia
off.
has no bandwidth to help anybody else. Like they're
Overloaded. They couldn't even save their fucking proxy from a bunch of rebels.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, let's engage with this a little bit. I see Dylan in the chat. I actually messaged Dylan today and asked him what he thought the Iranian impact that would be going down on the say the Russian-Ukrainian war. We can even expand it more to something like BRICS. What do we think the impact of like the Iranian regime fall would be on like BRICS on the Iranian war? I know he said that some of the weapons that were going to go to Ukraine had been sent to Israel, I believe, and I know that I asked about maybe the drones, but they already have the factories in Russia, so that he didn't think it would matter there. Maybe he said long term it might matter. I feel like I'm kind of interested. What do y'all think? I think long term it would really hurt BRICS overall, and since BRICS seems to be lined up against us, that could be a good thing. What are y'all thoughts on this?
It might just become BRICS eventually if the I goes away.
Wait, isn't the I India?
India, I think.
Oh, true. It wasn't Iran.
We got you. Clip it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I would.
I forget about India because they're like just doing stuff over there and not involved in this conflict at the moment, or really like they're doing their own stuff with Pakistan, but yeah,
like
and kind of outside of our sphere.
Like the United States should be.
With Pakistan, I don't know about that.
Universe. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, what you say we should go get involved with the India-Pakistan war, Cal? Is that what you think?
No, I'm saying we should be universal isolationists. I'm just kidding though.
Wow, very Trumpian arguments from you.
You're like, I forget about India. They're just minding their business. I'm like, maybe we should mind our business. That was the joke.
I feel so embarrassed now because I thought of the stupid joke before I remembered what BRICS stood for.
It was a solid. It was a solid joke. It was a.
It would have been solid if it was correct, but I fucked my shit up. God damn. All right.
If we didn't have ICO, I probably would have let that slide and realized it later. To be totally honest, I'm glad ICO caught it, but blame him. It's his fault for ruining a joke. I mean, do we think it'll have long-term impacts on BRICS? I mean, you're the anti-BRICS guy here.
They're not in BRICS, so yeah, it's not. But here's the thing. I think we can just look at Syria, right? Everyone thought, oh, it's great, Assad's gone, and now the current government of Syria, the United States wants to sanction them now because their leadership is, according to us at least, just as bad. So yeah, we got regime change, but it didn't get anyone who was any better, at least not according to this State Department.
Yeah, but they're a lot weaker, aren't they?
Iraq?
No, Syria, the new Syria government.
Syria, yeah.
They don't have near the resources that the Assad.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's not like they got leadership that was like any more friendly to the West. Certainly, I think Iran will get weaker. Although I don't know how much weaker they are. Like, do you guys? I remember you guys don't remember this either. I keep forgetting how young everybody is. But in the 90s, during all of the lead up to what eventually became 9/11 and the opportunity of the neocons to finally go in and do what they wanted, they were saying over and over again that it's not enough just to go into Iraq and just bomb the hell out of them because it won't affect regime change the way you want. And even if you could kill Saddam, like someone just as bad would take his place, the only thing that could affect, regime change like positively would be ground invasion, boots on the ground. It's the only way to do it. And so now we're thinking that we can just bomb Iran even though they're protected by these massive mountain ranges all around them. There's just no way to actually go in there with boots on the ground and make the kind of regime change that Bush persuaded everybody we should do in Iraq and Afghanistan, well, especially in Iraq. And so I just don't know that we can count on Iran all of this. We have the Crown Prince in the United States. He says he wants to go back in because, they killed his father in the Iranian Revolution. He wants to go back in and reestablish his father's rule. There are attempts at that. I just don't think that any of that stuff is possible. You would need the support of the people, and the people of Iran, even though they don't like the current leadership that they have, they've been protesting against them for years and years and years, but they're not about to turn around and support Jews who are bombing the hell out of them in Tehran. They're not gonna support that sort of revolution. I think anybody who says, "Okay, I'm gonna, I'm gonna take advantage of Israel's like regime change policy to put myself in power," is going to be instantaneously hated by the people. So I just don't know if we're going to get the kind of positive like regime change like
I think
story
I
that
think
we're
I think I see a different scenario playing out. I think
Okay.
I see something similar to what Syria is playing out. Unfortunately, we fucked ourselves with one thing, right? And that's Afghanistan. Afghanistan, the Taliban looks like they're about to go to war. Maybe partially Pakistan. I guess they're substantially supporting the Pakistan stuff. So it looks like they're trying to like move in there in some areas. Looks like they're talking about going to war with their three neighbors, who I actually have a bigger military than I think it's what Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, maybe one other. I mean, I could be wrong with the second one, but they're three stand neighbors. They're talking about going in there and clearing out portions of their area and taking it permanently in their control because of this water program they got going on. And I know they've had previous issues with Iran, the past that they border on. I could easily see the Taliban if Iran goes down, the Taliban making a power grab for not the whole all of it, but different areas, kind of similar to Syria, where we have like the areas that are under control of like the Kurds. We have the Syrian, whatever the new government held areas. We have the areas where like Israel's kind of like taking over portions, and like I said, this is what we're going to protect from the Alawites or whatever. I like in Iraq, kind of where they had those different areas kind of take over before Iran kind of exerted its influence, along with us over Iraq. I think it's going to become more of the little fiefdoms. I don't see it ever like going back to its pre-Iranian state where it's like one country in the long term if it actually has serious regime change.
Yeah, Dylan
I think
Burns.
they're gonna have serious
The
problems.
issue with none of the fucking
Saudi
sorry, not
Arabia might
Dylan
carve
Burns,
up
Dylan
areas.
Thomas.
I mean,
The
they're
issue
pretty
is
powers.
none
Y'all
of the
don't see anything
hardcore
like
right
that
wingers
take-
showed up to
potentially?
defend January 6th. So we talked about January 6th for a
I
few
think it's
minutes
very
and then shifted
difficult.
topics.
I think Iran is the only country in the Middle East, like significant country in the Middle East, that's never been occupied. Like Alexander the Great couldn't do it.
Have you been occupied, sir?
Yeah, a couple of times. Yeah, like
He plays his cards right. He might get occupied.
Sat on my couch for like the 3 or 4 weeks before they finally left. Yeah.
Yep, and Tupple ran, believe it or
Oh,
not.
I got it.
Didn't want to show up to defend.
Occupied
January
and
6th.
colonized, if you know what I mean.
Despite posting on Twitter about it, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh baby. Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know what you mean, but it sounds. I don't know.
yeah. Well, this has been some kind of panel. I feel like we're running out of steam here. We're gonna go. This has not been my best. Give me a break. I won't
This
lie,
is
but it's been a fun
Agreement
one.
Thursday.
Yeah,
we all
Agreement
agree on
Thursday.
most of
Yay.
everything.
Yeah, I like. Unless y'all have something y'all want to yell at each other about.
I got something. Can we all agree Pentuple's a bitch?
For
True.
running.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank
He
you, Pen,
ran.
for running.
Clip
Make
it
it
and
as
ship
much-
I
it.
think
Make
I
it much-
vote Pentuple should talk to my goat Rinyold about January 6th, okay? I want to see
Wait.
that conversation.
Oh, I do want to say one thing. You should have let Sansol run your channel, non-farm, while you're gone, because you were going up on the views, and then you got JC in there, and it went down faster than the whole on Nickel Night.
I
Let
mean,
me tell
I
you,
don't
that was a bad
actually-
time.
The first stream of JC did well. The second one did not. I don't know. I think it might have been because I was there for the first stream. I called in for a little bit. I don't know.
Might have had a lot to do with it.
But it might
No,
have
what-
also. I don't know. Like I don't know if it was better to just not stream at all. If it would be better to have at least a stream. I don't know. But
Yeah, if
listen,
you're gonna
I'm
have
back.
a disingenuous liar lead your channel, at least have him be entertaining like Sansol.
Amen to
True.
that. Let's get some closings here. Your
Oh,
final
you've got
thoughts.
so many enemies. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I'm
listen,
just taking shots. I don't
yeah.
care. I don't
Listen,
like or hate
you
anybody.
can count how successful you are by how many enemies you have and how powerful they are. That's how you count your success, don't you know? I count. A wise man once told me
I know that.
It was, it was a Sith Lord.
I'm
but
very
that's neither here nor there.
unsuccessful then.
Go ahead, Tyler. Take us away. Thoughts, shout out where you're at, all the good stuff.
I'm at my house, and my thoughts are always correct. So if you disagree with me, I'm sorry that you're wrong, and maybe you could, take some notes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I count.
By that standard, we should all be wrong. If agreeing with Tyler is right, I
don't want to be wrong.
I heard Icow say twice tonight, as Tyler was saying, just pointing that out.
There's a movie goalpost. Kel, tell us where you are, what you do, where to find you.
January 6th was an insurrection. Hot take. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I think it's like, I think everyone should be, I think what everything comes down to is that our fucking media literacy, as I hate that word too, is at an all-time low though, and everyone should be very fucking skeptical of everything they consume from both sides.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Non-fun.
Yeah, I'm non-fun. I think January 6th was obviously unjustified and bad. I think the gains from trade and immigration are large, and you can watch me defend free trade and our democracy on my YouTube channel at non-fun, and on my Twitch and Kick at non-fun420. Go follow me there.
Were you in debate in high school? Just kidding.
I just, you know what, I have to say, nice talking to you guys. It's unfortunate that there weren't like too many like, you know, actual righties here because, you know, I feel kind of like cucked out of my chance to be able to be the one telling people, haha, you're just coping, haha, it's so stupid, over the fucking, you know, the stuff with Kash Patel allegations that totally have outcome determinant voter fraud or whatever the fuck people are saying that it has to mean. So, darn, I feel cheated.
I mean, I feel cheated too. I was looking forward to hearing Katya yell. A couple little quick announcements here. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing the Iran subject a little more thoroughly. I got the biggest Iranian supporter of all time. We got old fucking Omar coming in. We're going to be quick with the channel mute and block screen to make sure we don't get TOS whenever he gets mad. And we're putting together Team America to yell at him. It's going to be very entertaining, and we're going to see how this goes.
And
I'm pretty excited for it. This should be spicy content.
Thanks for the follow.
We're going to have a lot of content next week. This week's been kind of chill. And then starting with Sunday, we're going to be doing Coach Stadium Show with Hot and Streamy. Going to be good stuff. Check it out. We're going to end this for now and come back shortly here to do some other degenerate things like gaming and slosh here in about 15-20 minutes. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Everybody bye. Say bye, everybody. Woo! Who's going to be streaming after this, by the way?
Going to eat tacos.
Oh, Kel's going to be streaming.
I'm
All right,
gonna
we'll raid Kel.
Chicken tacos?
No, turkey.
We have to get focused. Topics. Let's go. Lock in.
Yeah, focused. All right, yeah, so we'll raid out the Kel. Y'all be good. Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll get back on the horse next week with a more organized topic this week, and maybe I'll make sure my righties don't leave me stranded, and we'll go from there. Thank y'all.
Typical.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate you.
Whoa. Wow, what a crazy heated epic debate that one was. What's up?
Yo, what's up?
Not much. Did you watch any of that?
No, I didn't. I was talking to Sam.
Okay, good.
He sent me 5 things from the literature review that agree with the productivity wage gap, although they're not, in my opinion, too convincing or reliable. Because again, I have my own 6 different estimates that don't show that for the U.S. And one of the things we cited from the European Commission does kind of show that it's pretty close tracking, nothing close to what the EPI alleges. But whatever, I'll do more reading into what he sent. Either way, yeah, whatever. How was the debate? What were you talking about? I saw that the Tyler.
Not much. None of the fucking right wingers showed up, bro. So it was like half like Gibbs trying to like argue with us and like a 1v5, but I don't know. Then it was we talked about Iran for a little bit, but there was mostly agreement there as well. So I don't know.
Okay.
Missed the debate. Good closing statement. I did say the closing statement that the gains from trade and immigration are large. So
that's true.
W closing statement.
This is true.
Yeah. Dumpster's deaf like to be the loudest voice in the room. Who is that? The girl or whoever? Oh, Trumpsters. That makes sense. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna watch fucking H3H3 thing.
Oh, okay. Goodbye. I'm gonna watch you watching it.
Hell yeah. I'll see you.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. I don't even know. I don't actually know much of what this is about. I'm assuming he's just suing them for defamation. I don't keep up with all the fucking H3H3 shit. It's mid-out. He just announced he'd be suing exactly who you think he would be suing. Yeah. I mean, I'm curious. I haven't seen it yet, so I want to know what happens at least. I think it's because he's Jewish.
Hi there. My name is Ethan Klein, and my favorite hobby is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers. Today, I invite you into my home to share my favorite pastime with you. Join me in creating generational wealth for my attorney.
He's suing them for being one.
Let me tell you guys a story. About a year and a half ago, it's a big conversation called ReactGate. ReactGate was a debate going on in the streaming community about what constituted fair use. People like Hassan, XQC, and many of the large Twitch streamers would watch other creators' entire video on their streams. They would rarely add sufficient commentary or even pause the video to speak. Most egregiously, they would re-upload the entire VOD to YouTube with the same...
Panel seemed like a whole lot of nothing. It was negative something, Reynold. But you should... I don't know if Devil will do it. You should talk to Devil about January 6th. It's odd that he didn't show up. Especially because I saw him posting on Twitter about how he thinks the 2020 election at least could have been stolen. He won't, yeah. It's like, God, he posted on Twitter too much. My second favorite chart. Nobody knows what really happened, but if you don't think it's possible that this election was stolen, you're equally as retarded as anyone who was saying it was for certain. Like, okay, dog. Okay. More than 100% of the drop in voter turnout in 2024 are Democrat voters. You earned it. No tax on tips. What? Do you think he'll debate me about no tax on tips, guys? If you can't engage with Trees, you won't have a conversation, I would assume.
Thumbnail, the same title, so that they could cannibalize traffic from the original video. Here's what Lamino had to say about this phenomenon.
I don't mind people reacting to my videos, but I do mind when they play the entirety of my video. A face cam in the corner with the occasional interruption does nothing to address that issue. My video is still being played from beginning to end in someone else's stream or video. It's neither ethical nor necessary to feature the entirety of someone else's work, or they could do the bare minimum and ask for permission, something that none of the major reaction channels have ever done when they've streamed or re-uploaded my videos. But to answer your question, no, I don't want people to stream or re-upload the entirety of my videos.
Now, understandably, this made a lot of people angry, because why should these content thieves, essentially, get more views than the author of the video, which in a lot of cases was happening? I mean, people don't like injustice, and we all see this, and no, it's not right. This debate culminated when XQC, one of the prime suspects, called into my show to debate me, in which case I'm sad to report that I was terribly owned. So in that regard, do you care at all about, like, IP or copyright? Or, like, the fact that it's illegal? Does that matter?
Why wouldn't you just crib the entire video and pretend it's yours? I mean... People have established audiences. People like seeing the Hassan face in the thumbnail, so... Why don't you acknowledge chat? What do you mean, why don't I acknowledge chat? I'm reading chat.
That it might be illegal, does that matter to you?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Well, if flat out doesn't, because...
Well, that's fair.
Watch me full screen cam, do the fucking worm, then watch your plan. Then watch your plan content.
Do it for a week. Do a week of no reaction content and see how many fucking views you get. Oh, okay.
Sure. That was a question you didn't answer and said hi.
I mean, that's content, man.
I mean, I might not see every chat message. I try my best.
There's no content, at least. The ultimate debate, bro. He hit him with the worm. Oh, why didn't I think of that first? I kid XQC, but he is not the one I'm suing. Despite my criticism, he's not a malicious infringer. But the ones I am suing, you'll see, are much, much worse. Now, ironically, after this debate and in the wake of this large conversation, the problem seams to have only gotten worse. You have people like
Hassan... Is he suing them for React content? I thought he was going to sue them for, like, defamation shit.
Are paving the way of fair use with what's known as chair reacts.
Funny guy,
when Hassan
not a
gets up to go to the bathroom, or to talk to his mom, or to do whatever, disappears for an extended period of time,
sense for you to
the
say
video playing for his chair, Mr. Chair, they call it.
IDF had warned people to leave the area around the main airport in Sana'a.
Can I call in real quick? And why? No. Just like me, for real. I'm assuming you're Panda, right? You're Panda on a new account. Bundereds, I don't care. No.
And it was in this setting that I formulated an idea.
You can't even watch Asmon anymore? Why? Because he just does too much React content? You don't want... You want to see epic asymmetrical reactions?
If I could make a long-form, irresistible piece of content that I knew that these streamers couldn't...
You literally could not have done that because you are a first-time chatter.
is they couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it the second it was published.
I don't have an issue with them.
It's not that I wanted these people to steal my video. It's that I knew they would. I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion. The trap was set, and it worked even better than I imagined it would. We captured pretty much every large streamer reacting to it in its entirety immediately after it was published. Now, the thing is, there were a few people that went above and beyond to commit copyright infringement. For example, Denim sits here silently with nearly 50,000 live viewers. That's 30 times her regular viewership. She's working directly with the Snark subreddit moderators to siphon views, and their intentions couldn't be clearer. Here's an excerpt from a sticky post from the Snark subreddit. Hey everyone, we've seen a lot of comments about wanting to watch the Nuke without showing support for H3. Here's a list of creators who've supported our sub, either by engaging with us directly or citing our post in their critique of H3. Here they're offering these streamers as markets.
Why, Panda, because you have nothing interesting to say ever. No offense, dude. I don't care.
Substitutes for my work. This is the cardinal sin of copyright infringement. The Snark subreddit has been a frequent and persistent infringer. That's how I knew when this video came out, the Snarkers were going to encourage, promote, and push streamers to commit copyright infringement. I should thank the Snarkers, actually. Because of their predictability, they acted like double agents for us, incriminating their favorite streamers and serving them up on a golden platter. So, thank you, Snark. It's one thing for a subreddit to admit it's engaging in copyright infringement, but how do you get the streamers themselves to admit that they're stealing content?
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime. If you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here.
It turns out they just do it for you.
Denim should be sued on moral grounds. I don't know what's going on in her family. Her dad and uncle both subscribe to her OF base and donates large amounts for smuts of her. Okay, I don't know if that's true, but based if true, all right. It's the same person who makes a bunch of accounts announcing to people that I'm racist and never even talk to directly. Lol. I think, yeah, that is something Panda would do. He is known to do that. He gets banned a lot. That's why he has so many accounts. Denim has a small penis. True. I promise there's nothing interesting to say about it or anything. Please just give me one chance. It's been a year since I was active in your chat, and I've had an interesting talk with you about housing the other week. That was not that interesting, bro.
You couldn't cook up a more incriminating statement if you tried. Denim's the queen of self-owning. You prevail again. There's one thing about copyright you should know is that you got to register it before you publish to be eligible for statutory damages and attorney's fees, which is the main biting force of a copyright infringement lawsuit. Well, I'm happy to tell you guys now. I, Ethan Klein, have registered Hassan Piker Content Nuke with the United States Library of Congress. Some of you guys out there sweating? Even though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars, but the purpose of this is not financial gain. People like XQC and Asmongold may have watched the entire thing, but I would never sue them just for doing that. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear. Actually, the opposite. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
The state of reaction content on Twitch is so broken, these creators feel comfortable looking right into a camera and saying outright, hey, I'm stealing this guy's content. Pay me instead of him. This is not a healthy environment. And with people like Hassan reacting to entire TV shows on stream, my fear is that Sony or Disney comes along, sues everybody.
MasterChef meta.
And sets a devastating precedent that could
I mean, I didn't stream during that time.
Endanger our entire field. Now, before I tell you who the three people I'm suing are, I just want to make it clear that they all met this very specific high bar criteria that I set forth earlier. These people were not targeted.
Why? Because Panda, I have told you why. Oh my God.
Based on their gender, their identity, their political beliefs. All three are on this list. In fact, they're the only three, as far as I could tell, that reacted to the full video. Drum roll, please. Who's sweating at home, guys? Casey Tron, the queen of ripping farts and bong loads.
They do musicals. They're very musical people. I know. Are you being serious? Dog, what do you look? You think I made this?
Frogan, who bless her soul, she's still rising.
Can I walk away and use the bathroom? Do I have permission? Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing.
Let's go.
Apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager who's only known genocide his entire life.
What happened?
And Denim. They pin on Judaism? I'm pretty sure I've literally done that before.
The queen
it's one of the oldest videos
on
my channel.
God, is she the queen of that?
It's very obvious from the way that guy's talking, he's a Sneeko fan.
Oh my God, bro, I love you. Can I give you a hug, bro? I'm so sweet, bro. I love you, bro.
None of the hostages that have been released so far have said that they've been raped. The hostages have public statements. You can go look at them.
The sexual assault I experienced should never happen to any human being.
This Yemeni kid is just a Yemeni kid with a gun and is not a Houthi, and there is no proof of him being a Houthi.
Are you a soldier?
True, let's go, true.
Yes, well, that seems pretty definitive.
He never said Hassan Nasrallah was a good guy.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah base. I mean, listen.
Now for the fun part. Let's take a look at the complaints, and let's start with my favorite of the three.
As a Jew, he might be ethnically Jewish, but he's religiously Christian. He's part of the fucking 10 tribe of whatever fucking shit he's told me before. Just have ChatGPT write all your content for you, then you don't have to figure out what to come up with. Base.
Very own the prestigious.
That's what I do. That's what Mentuple accuses me of. That's what do you mean, dog? That's what I do. I don't have any argument. Every time I'm debating someone, I'm just typing their arguments in a ChatGPT.
The highly acclaimed, the highly analytical Casey Tron.
I thought it was religiously Jewish. No.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. So we're going to watch it.
Goonathon. Guys, stream idea.
Watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein.
I do, unironically, by the way. Everyone like, subscribe, follow, donate right now so I can do a fucking shrimp welfare subathon. I do, unironically. Unironically. Probably, if I do it, it'll be at least 10 days from now. It'll be past my class ends on the 28th. Bro is suing now, and is he based or cringe? Sorry. I mean, I don't have strong opinions. I mean, if you're doing legitimate like copyright infringement, which I mean, it seems like they're doing, I think you have a case to be made. Like I don't know. What was I saying? Fuck, I was saying something. Fuck me. What a fuck. My train of thought destroyed.
Fine. So we're going to watch it.
Well, that's a really dumb thing to say, don't you think? Why are you so comfortable? We've given each complaint a clever little title, and here's Casey Tron.
That is religiously Jewish? I thought it was part of... What were the 10 rules that he was telling me he had to follow when I first met him?
She smoked more than she spoke. Casey Tron smokes 42 times during her reaction. And just as a silly thought experiment, we thought, wouldn't it be funny if she spent more time smoking than she did talking? And thinking there was no way that could be true. Well, we tallied them up, and lo and behold, there's 15 minutes, 40 seconds of commentary versus 18 minutes and 55 seconds of smoking. She spent 3 minutes and 15 seconds longer smoking than she did talking.
I'm the second person to defeat Navon in the debate after Fabian
her
Liberty
quote-unquote
True.
reaction. And whatever talking she did was just to express how confused she was.
What is every left-wing female creator a whore?
Presumably from smoking.
An e-whore.
42
My bad.
times.
What is happening?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's true, number one. But number two, listen, a woman's got to do what she's got to do, okay? I respect female empowerment, okay? If they show their boobs on stream to get viewers, I would do the same thing if I was a woman. A woman could do a whole channel just smoking with her toes and become a millionaire. Based. I wish I could do that. As I've said many times before, if there was enough demand for the non-fun only fans, I would make the non-fun only fans, and I would donate all the profit from the non-fun only fans to the Shrimp Welfare Project. Oh, that's what I was talking about before my trade. I thought I got totally derailed because I was looking at chat. I've been thinking about. I want to do a Shrimp Welfare Project subathon where I do a subathon. Like every $1 is like an hour added to the stream or something. It might have to be like $3 is added to the stream. I don't know. It depends. I don't want to stream for 3 fucking weeks or something. I'm fine with doing it for 1 week. I did a subathon for a full week in the past. That was tolerable. I want to do that, but it's kind of hard to set up correctly because previously I had it so like even bits and things would add time, and if I want the money to go to the Shrimp Welfare Project, I can't really have it so bits add time. I could, but then it kind of be my responsibility on the back end to like donate those bits to the Shrimp Welfare Project, and also Twitch takes a cut of that. And so it'd be kind of hard to calculate the time to add the stream based on how much money the Shrimp Welfare Project actually got. So I just need to have confidence that there'd be some people who would donate with the link I provide. Because people usually don't donate with the link I provide. They usually do super chats. But I have an exclamation point TTS link. How was the debate panel? Basically, none of the hardcore right-wingers showed up. So it was like mostly a fucking circle jerk. We didn't even talk about the main topic for the whole time. We eventually switched to talking about Iran, but we didn't disagree that much here either. An economist that can't do math sus. True.
I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
I mean, I could do it.
Indeed,
I just
Casey
don't
Tron's
know. It'd be hard to set up, but.
Then too obliterated.
Wait, I'm a hardcore right winger.
Comment.
Well, it's not like it wasn't like an open panel or anything. You like none of them showed up to the panel itself, but I know you hear Patrol. Don't worry. I noticed. I'm a noticer.
And instead stares blankly at her computer screen. In a span of 2 hours.
Except they're like liberal monetary policy based.
Whereas in 7 minutes, Casey Tron smokes.
What does a liberal monetary policy mean? Because monetary policy is independent of party mostly. I mean, I guess presidents nominate the Fed chair, but that's about it. Lost the plot, never understood the plot. Real.
marijuana, frequently in highly concentrated forms through vaporizers, on 42 separate occasions. At one point, Casey's trying to so wasted that she states, quote, "What is happening? I'm trying to follow, but I've lost the plot." To give you an idea, the majority of her commentary comes down to this.
I don't understand this bit that he's doing.
My goat, can this be non-fun streams? What the fuck?
That you could ever imagine.
Me 5 years from now?
CPM's coming out of Qatar.
What the hell is
You kids love
going
anime,
on?
right?
He's read more books than you could ever imagine.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
They do musicals. They're very musical people. I know. Are you being serious? Dog, what do you look? You think I made this? This isn't a music video, Hassan.
And as dumb as all of that is, this is the part that really got her sued.
A lot of people have been
Every
wanting
left-wing creator over 28 smokes a ton of weed or sells their body. Don't you smoke,
to
localist?
watch this without
Or vape, I
necessarily
guess.
supporting Ethan Klein. Without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. So we're gonna watch it. What the fuck is going on here?
Stating outright that her intention
She's
of doing
smoking a
this
hookah
is so
that
that
is
people
hot,
who don't
babes.
want to support me can watch it through her is why copyright infringement laws exist. You could not and should not do that, especially if your commentary consists of you taking bong loads. At least try to engage with the content. Whoa, what was that? Oh, sorry. That was a flying star. It almost got me. You know her and you love her, guys. Frogan. Reaction by exiting. Here she is getting up to leave the video running as she steps out of the room. Is that transformative? I guess the judge will decide. She said, quote, "It's time to watch the new Nuke ethically. Hell yeah." Huh. Very smart to say on camera, by the way. She said, quote, "Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate everyone's support. And thank you for watching it with me." Well, you are so welcome, and I'm so glad that you were able to enjoy that day. Her commentary is so non-existent that even her own fans begin to call her out.
I don't have anything to say, dude, because he's cycling the same fucking points over and over again. What more?
Pre-rolls changed my
What
life.
more commentary do you need on him repeating the same fucking?
Generally, oh, thanks, Blue Magic Man, for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Good work on a circle jerk panel. It was interesting. Thanks, Testicle Johnson, I guess.
Points for the whole first hour.
I smoke hand-rolled premium cigarettes. Don't you? I swear you've told me you vape before, Localist, but
30 hour 1 minute and 32 seconds. It's been the same shit over and over again. This video could have been condensed into 20 fucking minutes. Like, what commentary do you want me to add by, like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot, he's mentally ill, and he's having a mental breakdown and uploaded it to fucking YouTube? You're gonna make at least one good
yeah,
point.
but my vape
What do you want me to
died.
make a point on?
Okay.
Oh, I forgot. She also said, "Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing." You may use the bathroom, Frogan, although I don't advise it.
Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing.
This into your stomach. And let me state the obvious. Jew and
Apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager who's only known genocide his entire life.
What happens?
But you just pause it. That's it. You just pause the video, right? Like, you get up and you go to the bathroom, you just pause it. They should be
Don't
watching
vape. All
for
the
you.
dudes who vape get growth on their fingers and face. I mean, I don't vape. I don't do anything. I don't vape. I don't drink. I don't do any drugs or alcohol. I'm sober. I'm 19 years sober. We do Zins now. That is true, actually, but I don't Zin.
If you get up to go to the bathroom and they keep watching my video, they're clearly not watching for you, right? As lazy and pathetic as her reaction is, this is not.
I think I had the not wine, but the blood of Jesus Christ when I was like 12 years old for my first fucking confirmation or whatever, and that's the only. I think that's really the only like sip of alcohol I've had.
Why she's getting sued. This is.
Thank you guys so
I
much.
did
I do
a Zen
appreciate
over the
everyone's support. And thank you for watching it with me. First time viewer, time to watch the Nuke ethically. Hell yeah. I found my way from Reddit. Hi guys, welcome Reddit people. Reddit people, Reddit people. I came for the H3 star credit. Ethan is so pathetic while Hassan is independent. Bother having a great time. Exactly.
Nerd.
We're gonna watch it live, yes. He doesn't want people to know when it's dropping because we're all watching through other streamers. And I suggest you all watch it through other people as well.
It's the stated malicious intent to steal. They talk about watching ethically, but I learned not to steal when I was 5. Up next is Denim's. And honestly, just take a look at this, guys. It's a nightmare on Denim Street.
Go.
Not only did she chair react, but she was kind enough to write her name right at the top just so that we knew that she was stealing my content and it was her room and nobody else's. Judge, did you know that we're on Denim Street right now? Here's some quotes from Denim's. "We're relying on you to stay live so we don't have to give the Nuke views. Yeah, I'm going to stream it. Since he's confirmed it's coming out today, I'm going to stream it." That is very explicit. Denim said, quote, "Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, give me a follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like my content." Your content? The Queen of Self-Own included a countdown timer so we could tell exactly how long she was away. After being gone for a few minutes, she returns and then sits silently for another couple of minutes eating.
I'm gonna go pee, and hopefully, when I'm back, they're done with this.
Right. You do look better.
Mr. 305. I see it.
Dude, you should do this. I have an alternate.
Holy
We're
shit.
relying on you to stay live so we don't get more views on the Nuke. Yeah, I'm gonna stream it since you
I
can.
didn't hear for explanation for why I couldn't call in. I don't enjoy talking to you. You never add anything particularly interesting. I know exactly who you are. You're very annoying. For some period of time, can I call on later? You're doing the same type of behavior you were doing literally like almost a year ago, if not a year ago by now. where you just constantly ask to call in, and like half the time it's about unrelated things anyway, and like I say no, and you just repeatedly ask why can I call in late, and it's very annoying, and you degrade the quality of the stream greatly. And that's why no one else likes you. That's why Sound Soul doesn't like you. That's why I don't know. There's other streamers you do it to as well. I know, but I think I still have that clip of Sound Soul yelling at you. I wonder. It's somewhere in.
Before, like,
it's somewhere in
making
this
very
video.
Strong claims or like basing your entire belief about.
Bro, he changed a lot in the last year. I'm your tyrant and you are Greg? I don't know what that means, Patrol. I don't know if I'm too a zoomer to get the reference, I think. Fuck.
Before, like, making very strong claims or literally ever. I don't... Anti-Iran, you're the only intervention about the world. Like, an iota of skepticism.
I think it might be. I'm not gonna be able to find it. God damn it! Fuck me. Well,
when I first saw like Azov Battalion, there's neo-Nazis over there. I was like, well, you know what? Put them on the front line.
Neoliberal fascism.
First.
What the fuck?
It's coming out today. We're gonna stream it. If you want to watch
It's
it,
a very boomer tier observation. Sorry, don't worry, Patrol. You're
watch
good,
it with
man.
someone else who's already watching it. You know, come enjoy the watch party somewhere else. If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime. If you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here, because I'm gonna be honest, I did not want to watch that by myself.
Let me also commercialize it by asking you to reward me financially for stealing his content. That is like chef kiss. By the way, Denims had a very successful stream. She had 43,000 people watching her live.
Can you just be clear and say if it's possible, if good behavior in chat will ever lead to access to VC or no? I'm sure there's a redemption arc for you somewhere, but I don't see it happening.
Take a look at the title of her Twitch stream. Ethan Klein has on content Nuke watch party. A watch party? I don't think that's fair use. Now Denims, of course, always delivering the goods.
I mean, you guys have. He can join that. I have other VCs that aren't like waiting rooms at a stream room. You guys, if you want to. Everyone, exclamation point Discord in the chat. Okay, guys. Everyone can join the Discord and join the Hangout VC and talk to other fellow non-fun fans. 43,000 is wild. I mean, yeah, it was a big deal when it dropped. Top tier drama slop, bro. You all can do that. It is also, just so you guys know, the official Soy Pill Discord server as well. I have a clip of him saying it somewhere. Okay, this is also the official Soy Pill Discord server. All right, I should get him to put it in the description of his videos. I should just have like a entire section of my server that's just called like the official Soy Pill Discord server, and that's just where all his fans talk, and it just happens to be in chats that are right below the chats for my Discord server.
On this dude's podcast to debate fair use. And would you be surprised if I told you she said a lot of incriminating things in that podcast? The queen of self-own never disappoints.
I want to be clear on my opinion on like filler content and stuff. Like I think filler content, like you shouldn't do it. I know I do it as a react stream, and I try to do it only when I do it with like Vox videos or Vice videos and stuff like that, because at least I'm not like directly ripping from one content creator and not like a whole team and stuff. And most of those videos have like 5 million views. I only get like 500 viewers. I'm taking maybe 50 views from the video. It's a lot harder to feel like I guess bad about that. Whereas like I would feel very bad about doing that to like a single content creator. The majority of people say that they literally wouldn't watch Hell's Kitchen unless I was streaming, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm reacting hard enough. You know, I'm sure if you click on a random part of the video, I might not be saying anything, sure, whatever, and I might walk away from the screen. But it's about like the communal thing. It's why like fucking Toast started streaming Death Note. It's not about the actual show at a certain point. It's the same reason you watch shows with your friends. You want to watch it with other people. A lot of people go to watch streamers on Twitch for their react content almost as a curator. So they don't actually want to go through YouTube themselves and watch a bunch of videos, and they probably never will go through YouTube and click a bunch of videos. They like going to Twitch because they like to have it as like, this streamer is curating fun content that I want to watch. From the people that I've talked to, the people who watch Twitch content are specifically there to watch it so they don't have to scroll through YouTube and find a video they like. If someone watches content, I already said this, if someone watches content
What are we
on
watching
someone
right
else's
now? We're watching. No, you're not gonna care about this. This is really insane. Or sorry, this is not insane. This is random drama slop that I hardly care about, but I am roped into caring about it because everyone else cares about it. This is bullshit slop real. This is basically H3H3. I don't know if you know who he is. A streamer suing other streamers because they stole his video, essentially.
stream, there is a very low likelihood that they're going to go watch it separately and give you like the view or the like. But the people who are watching content on Twitch, curated Twitch content on Twitch, aren't necessarily people that would be watching content on YouTube.
That, my friend, is called theft. And you're a
Actual
thief.
cancer,
And now I'm
true.
suing you. This is just
I
a
know H3H3,
testimony
I'm not
to
stupid.
how
Okay, my
brazen
bad.
and how safe
My
they've,
bad.
gotten. That she thinks she can go out in public on video and say shit like, I'm stealing this content because I want to. I'm coping even though I know it's stealing. When people watch it with me, they're definitely not going to go watch the original. Like, you are way too comfortable committing crimes out in the open. Well, there you have it. 3 separate lawsuits for
Whose
3
side
separate
you're on? I mean, I think he probably has a good chance of winning the lawsuit. Like, I don't know. I don't know what defense these people could possibly have, because like they literally did say, we are streaming this so that you don't have to give a view to Ethan, and that seems pretty incriminating. But
now I want to make it clear again.
The viewers.
And I hope it's been obvious about why I'm suing these 3 people and not others. These people not only violated all the principles of fair use, they also did it maliciously. And that's the part that really got me. I think if you're a reactor on Twitch, for the most part, if you make a good faith effort to comment, and if you make a good faith effort to promote the author, to link to them, to try to drive traffic to the original video, I think you're probably pretty much doing the right thing, and that's fine. And I would never sue someone for that. I mean, take it to these 3 absolute morons to state their intention to steal my property on video. And to all the detractors who are saying that I'm targeting women, that I'm a hypocrite for suing.
Is there a more Jewish way to deal with this?
To say. I don't care. What I
Look
do
it
hope,
up.
though,
Apparently,
is that
the intent doesn't matter, just the content. So if she commented during her react and not the cherry pick thing, she might be okay. I thought the intent didn't. I don't know if the intent matters for like the factual determination of if it is fair use. I guess technically you probably could have a fair use piece of media that you intended to not be fair use, but I would imagine the intent is at least like evidence that it isn't fair use, but I don't know. Or can be used as evidence.
Support their crowdfunding efforts to defend themselves. Because let's face it, I want to make sure there's money left over for me when I win my lawsuits. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been a great time. I'll see you around.
Whoa. Okay. I mean, I guess I wish Ethan the best of luck, okay? It'll be interesting to see how that actually goes in fucking court. Someone posted this in Discord, so it has to be true. That is true. Fair use is an objective inquiry into what a user does with the original work, not an inquiry into the subjective intent of the user. Well, sure, that makes sense. I mean, it seems to be like what I said, but I'd have to... I would again have to imagine that, like, if you're trying to show... whether content was transformative, you could like show, hey, this person never intended the content to even be transformative. Like I would assume that can be like used in court. That can be part of it. Okay, I don't know if I care to read this on stream actually, because I have to edit. All right, I gotta go edit the video of the Johnny Harris thing because they stole my content in a non-transformative way. Real. But explicitly saying that you're trying to make a market substitute for the a market substitute also probably the case to say it was a market substitute easier. Yeah, that's what I would imagine. Yeah. What's up?
Hey, if you're editing the Johnny Harris thing that we reacted to together, cut the claim where I say that the wage theft thing is just from 3 cities. I looked into it and like looks like I just like brain farted, like made it up. Like
debunked. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like I cannot find the source for that. It doesn't seem like it was true what I said. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know. Whatever. But he didn't mention it even. I brought it up out of my own volition because I'm yapping.
Well, I think you said like the EPI has a lot of dumb stuff, like for example, the wage theft meme.
Okay, then cut that if you see the wage theft stuff. But yeah. Every other stuff I stand by. Yeah. But make sure to show the graphs if you, or I guess it's just you're gonna upload the segment.
Yeah, but I might also do it like actual, more video essay type response. I think, but
yeah, that'd be fun. Oh, sorry, you're gonna make it. Sorry, you're gonna upload the segment or do a response.
Why not both?
Yeah, why not both? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, what's gonna be the title?
For which one?
The response video.
I don't know. It would probably be like everything wrong with Johnny Harris's economics or something, or like everything what Johnny Harris gets wrong about economics. Maybe I need to figure out a term because I don't want to say like everything Johnny Harris gets wrong about median income, but I need to figure out what
Yeah, you want to get views.
Yeah.
Maybe Johnny Harris is wrong about. I don't know. No, that's not. I don't know about what.
Capitalism. I could do that maybe.
Maybe. Maybe debunking Johnny Harris's video about
inequality, maybe
inequality or something. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Yeah, okay, whatever. You'll find a good title. Ask ChatGPT or something. Okay. Yeah, bye. See ya.
All right, I'll see you. Talk to her. Yeah, I'll come up with a good title for it. I'll figure it out. Okay, chat. I'm gonna go edit the video because I think if I upload it soon, within a day of Johnny Harris's original video, then I will. Oh.
Two things. One. Are you gonna read the Decker price index article?
Claims or
I do need to
basing
read
your
that.
entire belief about a
I
certain,
read it like today
current
while I was
political
showering.
topic. You should
I
maybe look into
played
it,
the
Panda.
reading of the Substack.
Yeah.
It wasn't too riveting. It's pretty nerdy. That's Decker for you. And second thing is Benny Morris has a Substack. You know that, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
He posted yesterday he posted a Substack saying Israel is not committing genocide. With all the arguments for why. So I want to read that as well.
Mm-hmm. How long is it?
Yeah, it's pretty long. Let's see. It's called Dehumanization and Genocide. Let's see if I play it. How long is it? 13 minutes for the reading thing, so it's not too long. Yeah, I've read longer. Yeah. Yeah, it's annoying. All the slop about Israel Palestine. It's so boring talking to people about it. Yeah, whatever. Either way. Well, see ya. Good night.
I'll see you. Due to Israeli public, according to the current war, it's essential become injured to Palestinians suffering mass death, according to Hamas Health Ministry, which is endorsed by other agencies. Some 30,000 Gaza civilians, mostly women and children, have so far been killed in Gaza, alongside some 20,000 Hamas fighters. Talk of starving out the Palestinians to achieve Hamas's defeat is now a common coin. The food trucks are now going to the strip again. But for some 2 months, starting in mid-March, the Israeli government stopped deliveries hitting Gaza Strip. No food trucks, no water, electricity. Some Israeli protested, but not many, and the violence and harassment of Palestinians in the West Bank, where there is no war and, frankly, little terrorism, largely because of the IDF's blanketed territory troops, has continued without interruption for many months, and few Israelis been bothered. Ongoing process of dehumanization apparent and evident from the IDF soldiers' testimonies published in social media, the Daily Haaretz, and occasionally on TV channels. I might read this. We'll see. Not on stream, but later, after I end. But to Gaza, Palestinian hatred of Jews is not simply a child ideology, history and actions, but Jews also played a major part. The main milestones prominent in every Palestinian's mind in Gaza and the West Bank is the 1948 uprooting from their homes of some 2/3 of the Palestinians and their refugeedom, and since 1967, the oppression suffered by the West Bank and Gazan Arabs under the boot of Israeli occupation. Never really enlightened, frequently brutal, and always humiliating. Nathan, why do you let people simple text poison your mind with this Zionist nonsense? I don't know, I don't know if I consider Benny Morris really Zionist nonsense. I think he's a pretty well-established, respected guy. I don't know. I don't know if this is. Also, he's not. Obviously his claim, which obviously I agree with. Israel it is not committing genocide in Gaza, but he's talking about the title is about dehumanization. He's talking in here about Israeli crimes. He's saying, obviously, a lot of Palestinians in the West Bank suffer under Israeli occupation, despite there being basically no terrorism. Yeah. Like he mentioned the 30,000 civilians killed, at least. Anyway, I gotta edit that video because I think it'll do well if I get it out by tomorrow. So I'm gonna do that. Sample text is a clandestine operator. Probably. I believe it. All right. Head over to Rinyold on Twitch, and also Rinyold on YouTube. If he's streaming on YouTube, he probably is. You should come and film my boat life on my boat. Listen, I ain't turning down an invite to be on a cool ass boat. So, but yeah. Anyway, you should have your Discord say when you are live. They changed the way fucking streamer mode worked, or whatever. They added OBS as a game or activity at the text. So sometimes when I have OBS open, it says playing OBS rather than non-fun streaming. That's annoying. I need to figure out how to fix that. But yeah, I should have that. I think you can toggle streamer mode on manually now. Well, you can toggle streamer mode on manually. I don't like having streamer mode on though, because it makes people's name, which there might be setting changes, makes people's names the first letter then 3 dots, and that ruins the overlay I have when people join. It'll just say S 3 dots instead of sample text, and that's annoying. I wish they never got rid of the fucking tag feature, because that would have solved that. But whatever. I'm an old buddy subject. A video by a young economist covering a chat would be epic journalism. Real. Damn, that's stupid. Why Discord ruining service? I know, for real. Anyway, head over to Rinyold. I've got... Oh, shit. Thanks, Bubby, for the sub. Speaking of that, by the way, any last-minute subs or donos or anything would be greatly appreciated. Love streaming. Love the guys watching stream. It's really cool that people like Bubby who sub are able to help me do this. I appreciate it. It's greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't. All my socials are on nonfun.gg. You can go follow me on Twitter. Oh, shit. Bro has a gifted sub. Bro put out the gifted, too. Goddamn. I'm having a bad banking day because of Juneteenth. You're fine, Patrol. Patrol, you've paid more than your dues. Don't worry, bro. Not that I would reject anymore, but you're definitely #1 non-fun donator, so you don't got a fucking debt to pay, man. But not that ordinary people have a debt to pay to me either. But all this stuff, gifted subs, following, greatly appreciated. Fucking NLK sub 2. Let's fucking go. Let's go. How much longer can I delay the stream by thanking people for subbing? Let's go. Okay, yeah, head over to Rinyold. Love streaming. Love the guys watching stream. Go check out me on every platform so you know when I'm streaming. Plan on helping me take my boat to Florida in December. Okay, man. I live kind of far away from Florida, but yeah. I'll see you guys. Love streaming. Love the guys watching stream. See ya fucking tomorrow. Hold on, let me find Rinyold again, because I closed out of it. Where the fuck is Rinyold? Did he stop streaming? Oh no, he's there. Okay, I'm just stupid. Alright, peace, yeah. I gotta wait 10 seconds. Love streaming. Cool that you guys watching stream. Yeah. Make sure you follow, do everything like that. Head over to Rinyold. See you guys later. Thanks, Localist Party.